3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and blast off. Hello and welcome to Red Pride Stadium on the campus of Plainfield High School. My name is Lex Zorn, and I'll be bringing you all the action as your Plainfield Quakers challenge the Terre, Haute South Braves in Week 1 of the Indiana high school football season. Well, I'll tell you, one of the greatest feelings of euphoria I have every year is the third or fourth Friday in August when I walk up those metal bleachers toward the press box for the first time in 9 or 10 months, because that means after the agonizingly long off season, the thrill and the passion of the Friday night lights are back. And for the 17th consecutive season, audiosportsonline.com is your source for Quakers football all season long. We'll have every varsity game for you, home and away, regular season and playoffs. That's a minimum of 10 games and a maximum of 14, which is how many it'll be if we get all the way to the state championship game on Thanksgiving weekend at Lucas Oil Stadium. In addition, every Sunday we'll have the Tyler Bless Show and up close and personal interview with Plainfield's head coach. The first 2 episodes are already up, the season preview and the Week 1 preview. Well, entering the 2024 season, there's one thing that we all want our beloved Quakers to do, and it should be the slogan for the team: finish strong. 2 years ago in the farewell season of head coach Brian Woodard, Plainfield got off to its first 0-3 start in 26 years. They lost 30-28 to Greenfield Central and 25-20 to cross-county rival Tri-West, 2 games that gave away with turnovers and defensive lapses. That was followed by a 31-7 loss to 4A powerhouse Mooresville. But the Quakers answered with their first 3-game winning streak in 7 years. 28-14 over Perry Meridian, 43-14 over Greenwood, and a 34-32 overtime thriller that broke a 13-game losing streak to Decatur Central. In Week 7, Plainfield lost 35-12 to Franklin because of 3 turnovers in the red zone, including a lost fumble at the 1 that was returned for a touchdown. They also lost their next game to eventual Class 5A runner-up Whiteland 45-14. But then they began a magical 3 games that led me to nickname them the Cardiac Quakers. They trailed Martinsville 17-7 going into the fourth quarter of the regular season finale, but Noah Hessing scored 2 touchdowns to give Plainfield a 21-17 win. In the playoff opener at Harrison, the Quakers trailed 28-21 midway through the fourth quarter, but on 4th and 18, Hunter Newell threw a 39-yard touchdown pass to Grant Irwin, and on Harrison's ensuing possession, a fumble was recovered by Plainfield's ironically named Harrison Herbeck, who returned it 51 yards for a touchdown, giving the Quakers a 35-28 win, avenging a 22-14 loss to the Raiders in Week 2. Finally, in the sectional championship game, Plainfield trailed Decatur Central 10-0 in the fourth quarter, but after 3 receiving touchdowns the week before, Grant Irwin intercepted a pass from the Hawks freshman superstar quarterback Bo Polston and returned it for a touchdown with 10:24 left. And then in maybe the greatest moment in program history, Noah Hessing caught a 19-yard pass. Noah Hessing caught a 19-yard pass from Hunter Newell, giving Coach Woodard a sectional championship after he was previously 0-6 in sectional championship games. There were 1.3 seconds left when Hessing made the catch, by the way. Plainfield's magic finally ran out the next week in the regional, a 49-14 loss to eventual state runner-up Whiteland in the regional, but that did not tarnish the dramatic turnaround of that season, and especially Coach Woodard finally getting that sectional championship and getting it the way he did. Last year, however, in the debut of head coach Tyler Bless, instead of starting week and finishing strong, the Quakers did the opposite. In Week 1, the Quakers went down 13-0 at Terre Haute South before coming back to lead 17-13 at the half and winning 32-13. Then in their home opener against Harrison in a rematch of the previous year's playoff opener, the Quakers went down 14-0 before coming back to win 15-14. Back on the road in Week 3, Plainfield saved us from the usual tension, cruising to a comfortable 31-15 win and breaking a 5-game losing streak to the Mooresville Pioneers. The Quakers then returned home for their only 2-game homestand of the regular season. In Week 4, they were given a scare by recently improved Perry Meridian, but held on for a 21-20 win on a missed 30-yard field goal attempt on the Falcons' last possession. At home again in Week 5, Plainfield overcame a scare against much improved Greenwood. The Quakers led only 22-20 in the third quarter and looked like they were losing their momentum when the game turned on a successful fake punt on 4th and 10 at their own 33. From there, they closed out the game with 24 unanswered points, winning 46-20, moving to 5-0 for the first time in 17 years, and moving up to number 4 in the AP poll for Class 5A. In Week 6 at arch rival Decatur Central, Plainfield led 23-9 in the third quarter, but then the season began unraveling. A controversial roughing the kicker penalty on a punt kept a Hawks possession alive and changed the momentum of the game. Sophomore superstar Bo Polston went on to throw a 40-yard touchdown pass to Chris Richmond on that possession. Then on Plainfield's ensuing possession, Coach Bless called for another fake punt, but this one failed and Decatur took over at the Plainfield 36. The Hawks gained 0 yards on the first 3 plays of the ensuing possession, but then on 4th and 10, Polston threw a touchdown pass to Casey Berry that tied the game at 23. Finally, a 49-yard field goal from Ashton Vogel with 1:43 left in the fourth quarter gave Plainfield their first loss of the season, as the Hawks avenged their heartbreaking loss to the Quakers in the previous year's sectional championship game. That loss seemed to fire up the Quakers, who returned home the next week and were awesome in a dominating 38-3 win over Franklin, a game that was played with a running clock for almost the entire second half. That made us hopeful that the team had overcome its problems and it would be smooth sailing for the rest of the way. But the next week they had another setback at Whiteland. Though the Warriors had won 12 of their last 13 games against the Quakers, including the last 6 in the series, Whiteland entered the game at 3-4. But they started the game with a successful onside kick and got a second one in the third quarter. Taking 2 possessions away from Plainfield and sustaining long drives with heavy rushing, the Warriors ran 28 more offensive plays than did the Quakers, 66-38. In addition, Plainfield lost a fumble at the Whiteland 1. As a result, the Warriors won the game 22-8. Returning home for senior day in the regular season finale, Plainfield tried to rebuild its momentum against the Martinsville Artesians, a 4A team who entered the game at 5-3. The game was played under rain, often heavy, for the entire first half and several minutes of the second half, especially the fourth quarter. That seemed to favor Plainfield as they relied less on their passing offense. But Martinsville was fairly successful by almost completely abandoning long passes and focusing their offense mostly on senior running back Braden Shrake. For most of the game, Martinsville sustained long drives and short gains, and they won 13-6. Finally, in the playoffs, Plainfield returned to Harrison, whose game plan seemed to be a hybrid of what worked so well for Whiteland and Martinsville. Keep the ball for long periods of time, rush a lot, make the Quakers play from behind. The strategy worked as the Raiders rushed 46 times for 289 yards, 6.3 yards per carry, and they ran 16 more offensive plays than did Plainfield. Harrison cruised to a 39-13 victory, ending Plainfield's season at 6-4. They lost 4 of their last 5 after the 5-0 start. Tonight, Plainfield begins their search for redemption as they host the Terre Haute South Braves, a team that's mostly struggled since the 1990s, but is now showing signs of turning a corner. 2 years ago, they finished 6-4, only their second winning season in the last 24 years. And last year, after an 0-3 start, they won 5 of their next 8, including a playoff win over Franklin, before losing to before losing to Whiteland in the sectional championship game. The Braves finished at 5-6, and they return the bulk of their players on both sides of the ball, especially offense. Now, last season, Plainfield rushed 290 times and passed 242, a ratio of 1.2 to 1. Then senior quarterback Hunter Newell completed 142 of 240 passes, 59.2% for 1,414 yards, 13 touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions. He's now a freshman playing for Indiana Wesleyan University. His leading receiver was then junior Jameer Bowie with 40 receptions for 415 yards and 5 touchdowns, but unfortunately, he transferred to Avon for his senior season. Close behind were 2 then seniors who are now playing collegiately. Caden Vanderbush had 32 receptions for 397 yards and 5 touchdowns. He's now playing at Eastern Michigan University, while Isaiah Miller had 41 receptions for 380 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's now playing for Taylor University. No returning Quaker has, Marion University. No returning Quaker had as many as 100 receiving yards last season. On the ground, Plainfield was led by then sophomore Luke Starnes, who is by far their top returning offensive player. He rushed 184 times for 952 yards and 12 touchdowns. And then junior Weston Wayrich was a solid backup with 22 rushes for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Terre Haute South passed 219 times and rushed 206, an almost even 1-to-1 ratio. Then junior Brady Wilson was excellent in his second season as a starter, completing 167 of 278 passes, 60.1%, for 2,630 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. He returns, but the Braves lost their leading receiver, A.J. Watkins, who had 51 receptions for 1,132 yards and 11 touchdowns. He's now with Indiana State, having stayed in Terre Haute to play college football. Terre Haute South does return its second leading receiver, Christopher Herron, the son of head coach Tim Herron, who last year as a junior had 61 receptions for 839 yards and 8 touchdowns. On the ground, the Braves were hit the hardest, losing their 2 leading rushers, Zaire White, who transferred across the city to Terre Haute North. They also lost their leading rusher, Immer Holman, to graduation. Head coach for Plainfield is Tyler Bless, who's 6-4 in his second season with the Quakers. Head coach for Terre Haute South is Tim Herron, who's 40-75 in his 12th season with the Braves. He led Terre Haute South to a sectional championship in 2014, one of only 2 sectional championships in program history, the other coming all the way back in 1988. Well, at this time, we'll take a short break for a few words from our sponsors, and then we'll be back with the opening kickoff. Plainfield Terre Haute South season opener coming at you live under the Friday Night Lights. Next. This broadcast of Plainfield Quakers is brought to you through the generous donations of our sponsors. We would like to recognize them, and we hope you will support them. They are Remax Centerstone, Julia Berberich, Gunnell Financial, Crone Family Construction, My IT Indy, Ryan Grimes, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, BGW Construction LLC, Legacy Motorsports, Crest Point Real Estate, Chris Pearson, Selwith Jones, the Stewart Home Group, and Ellison Associates. Thank you, sponsors. Your support of the student athletes of Plainfield High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Plainfield, we're just a few minutes away from kicking off the 2024 season here. We've got beautiful weather here today in the West Indianapolis suburb of Plainfield. We've got a great crowd. Most of the home bleachers are filled right now. We've got about 2,000, between 2,000 and 2,500 here on this side of the field. Across the field in the visiting bleachers, it's a late arriving crowd. Keep in mind, Terre Haute South, about an hour down I-70. Last year's game was delayed from the customary start time of 7 to 7:30, which is customary for games with a lot of travel time for the visiting team. So I imagine that there will be more more Terre Haute South fans filing in, just a little bit late arriving. And the game probably will not start quite at 7. There's only 6:22 on the pregame clock, but I think the game is going to be starting probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 minutes, maybe a little more late, because Plainfield actually unconventionally had its senior day festivities. They just completed about 2 minutes ago. Now, traditionally, senior day is the last home game of the regular season. That seems natural. But on this week's episode of the Tyler Bless Show, head coach Tyler Bless said that they're experimenting with doing it in week 1 this year because senior day sometimes coincides with fall break here at Plainfield, and that's affected the attendance. So they're experimenting, maybe just for this year. They're gonna see how this goes. But nevertheless, they just had their senior day festivities today, and so hopefully that succeeded in increasing attendance. Now let's take a look at the weather here. It is currently 82 degrees here in Plainfield. We had a high today of 83 in Plainfield. And I'll tell you, the weather this week was really, really, it was like a preview of autumn. I mean, it was really nice. I mean, I'd drive to work in the morning. It'd be in the 50s. I felt a nice cool breeze. And I would leave my windows down at work. I do. I work in a very safe area. Don't worry. It's not a high crime area where I'm likely to get robbed. Not that I keep anything important in my car, but basically, we had really nice weather, and then today it started to creep up. And next week we're supposed to get another blast of summer, so we're not gonna have consistent fall weather yet for a few weeks, apparently. And in fact, on Tuesday, we're supposed to have a high of 96. Now, by our next game, which is a week from tonight up at Harrison in Tippecanoe County, the temperature projection for here in Plainfield is 87. Since we're going to be about 80 miles north of here, there's a fair chance it'll be a few degrees cooler, but probably still be very warm. So anyway, got a great opening night crowd. These Quaker fans are really hoping that we will finish strong. And, I just did some checking. Plainfield's last game was 301 days ago. That was October 27th last year, the loss up in Tippecanoe County at Harrison. And I'll tell you, because high school football is one of the great joys of my life, especially commentating it, I always have a very hard time for the roughly 39 or 40 consecutive Fridays. And that we will pause for the national anthem. Well, thank you to the Plainfield Marching Quakers for that lovely rendition of the national anthem. And now we've got, Terre Haute South just entered the field. They're on the sidelines now in Plainfield to the sounds of Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses is ready to make a dramatic entrance through their inflatable helmet. The players just walked out of the locker room, and there's a big sign saying seniors that I guess the players are about to tear through. The Plainfield mascot is here tonight. I don't remember seeing him in a while. So it's good to see him. I gave him a big high five down there before the game. And Guns N' Roses, one of several rock music acts with strong ties to Indiana. Original lead singer Axl Rose and original lead guitarist, or at least co-guitarist Izzy Stradlin, both Hoosiers, both attended Lafayette Jeff. We're going to be up nearby there next week. Now, as Plainfield does walk out onto the field, do a nice ovation for their fans. They've waited 301 days. And what I was starting to say before the national anthem, I'll tell you, every off season seems like a long time to me because I go 39 or 40 Fridays in a row without any high school football to commentate, and I miss it a lot. But I'll tell you, this has seemed like the longest off season I've ever been through because of the way the last season ended. It was like the big emotional roller coaster. We were on top of the world through the first 5 games, and then things unraveled, lost 4 of the last 5, and really finished on a down note. But, at the same time, like I said in the post-game show last year, I think I said it in the final minutes of the game before the season completely ended. I said the attitude we got to take is next season starts right now. So these kids have had 301 days to think about what went wrong last season and how we can get it back on track. And I think the main thing is, you go back to those first 5 games, it was euphoric, the 5-0 start, couple of 1-point wins, both at home, breaking the 5-game losing streak to Morrisville. It was great, but we also made some mistakes in those games. We were lucky to get out there. We could have lost 2 or 3 of those games, especially the 1-point wins against Harrison and Perry Meridian. And even that Greenwood game was too close for comfort until about midway through the third quarter when we pulled off that fake punt that changed the momentum. So I think the euphoria really masked some of the weaknesses we had. And then I think those weaknesses became exposed later in the season, especially rushing defense and just not finishing enough drives. And the results that we ended up playing from behind a lot more, and that made our top our top rusher, Luke Starnes, a much less effective player because we didn't have the luxury of turning to him as much. We were having to pass a lot more, going for big gains. And so, I think that, Tyler Bless, obviously, someone who I believe is going to be a great coach here for Plainfield for many years. He's about the same age that Brian Woodard was when Woodard became head coach back in 2006. Woodard gave us 17 great years. Now an assistant coach down the road at DePaul, where he's coaching his son Blake, former Quaker, now a junior there with the Tigers. And so, I think that Tyler Bless is going to plant roots here, and I think he'll be with us 17 years or more, and maybe longer. You look at the coaching family he comes from, his dad at Avon, and his uncles at Columbus North and Bloomington North. 3 of the living legends, probably the best coaching family in Indiana history. So now, ready to kick off. Leo Hayob, he is a senior. Last year, he split the kicking duties with Cameron Grimes. And now, players are jumping in place. The kicking team is. They're ready to start the road to redemption. Hayob drops back. 7:04. The referee blows the whistle. Everybody's ready. Let the season begin. It's a deep kick, and it looks like it's going to go into the end zone for the touchback. It does. So Terre Haute South will go first on offense tonight. It was a rough offseason, semi-rough offseason for the Braves, as Zaire Allen, their top rusher from last season, transferred across town to Terre Haute North. They do return their starting quarterback, Brady Wilson. He's a senior. He's a 3-year starter, likely to be playing college ball a year from now. And he returns his second leading receiver, Christopher Herron, the son of head coach Tim Herron. So now Terre Haute South lines up. They got 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, 1 running back. And I'm not sure what the delay is. The officials have not blown the whistle yet. Started the season only 4 minutes late. I thought it'd be a little more than that after the senior day festivities, but we still have cars filing into the driveway. So I think we're going to have 3,000 or so people in here tonight before the night is through. So 1st and 10 for the 20 for Terre Haute South. First play from scrimmage of the season. Hayab got the kickoff into the end zone for a touchback. Wilson takes snap, takes the handoff, and it's a screen pass complete up to A.J. Suggs, S-U-G-G-S. He is a junior, 5'9", 170. So that'll bring up about, they give him credit for 7 there, so that will be 2nd and 3 for the Braves here. 1 receiver to each side now. Handoff there, and he's got the first down and more up to about the 32. So Suggs has handled the ball in both plays. He has a reception for 7 yards now, a rush for 5 yards. So the I almost said the Sycamores, right city, wrong level. Indiana State's the Sycamores. Terre Haute South is the Braves. So A.J. Suggs looks like the heir apparent to Zaire Allen. So 2 receivers now to the left, 1 to the right. Wilson drops back. Scott Time throws deep up the middle, and it is just overthrown. There was a little contact there. The intended receiver there, I believe that was Chase Maxwell. It looked like there was a little contact there with Plainfield's to Sean Callahan, but nothing was called. So 1 for 2 for the error to start off the season for Brady Wilson. Yes, indeed. Like my son said, the surname Callahan is heavily Irish, as I largely am. And now 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Handoff there, but this time they're right on top of Suggs, but he dodges his man, but then gets up for just about 1. So some good footwork there by A.J. Suggs. He might have gotten 1. They had no gains, so 2 for 5 on the ground for Suggs. After they lost their top 2 rushers, 1 to graduation, 1 to transfer, the position was wide open. Suggs so far shown some promise. He has 12 all-purpose yards here on the first possession of the season. So 2 receivers now to the left, 1 to the right. Wilson takes the snap. Scott Time throws up the middle, and it is caught for the first down. That was Chris Herron there, the leading returning receiver. Picks up about 15 yards, brought down immediately. So Wilson has completed 2 of his first 3. Give him credit for 14 there. Chris Herron should be playing college ball a year from now. Wilson, 2 of his first 3, has completed 2 of his first 3. Now pass to Callahan, screen pass, and he gets up for about 6 or 7. So now Wilson's completed 3 of his first 4. So 3 different Braves have caught up just in the first 2.5 minutes of the season. That one going for 6. Wilson's completed 3 of his first 4, looking for a banner senior season. So now the Braves in Quaker territory. 1st and 10 at the 48. Takes the snap, drops back. Scott Time throws deep down the right side, and it is caught for the touchdown. So that was Mason Lewis there. So in 2 minutes and 45 seconds, 2 minutes and 49 seconds. Wow, they made it look easy. So now the Quakers just got to keep their composure here. Wilson completed 4 of his first 5 for 75 yards and a touchdown. And his 4 completions were all to different receivers. That's a very good sign after losing A.J. Watkins, their leading receiver for last season. He's now a freshman at Indiana State. So now extra point attempt here. The kick is up, and it is good. That's Margot Mallory. He is a senior for the Braves. So, concerning start for the Quakers defense. Keep in mind last year at Terre Haute South, the Braves scored touchdowns on 2 of their first 3 possessions to take a concerning 13-0 lead. Plainfield came back to take the lead 17-13 at the half, rolled to a 32-13 win. History could repeat itself. A lot of questions with the Quakers offense, but we will see. They're about to go on offense for the first time. Nevertheless, if you're a Terre Haute South fan, you got to like what you see so far. You know, they entered the season with some question marks of their own after losing their leading receiver and leading their rusher, although they did return their leading quarterback. Plainfield likely to be passing less, at least at first, to start off the season. So now Terre Haute South getting ready to kick off. Margot Mallory fresh off the extra point, giving the Braves a 7-0 lead. One up, and now we've got it's a mid-level kick, and it's fielded on a hop at the 22, right up to the 25. Finds some room on the left side of 30, 35, 40, 45. So that's a solid return there by Ethan Ellis. He is a sophomore, 5'8", 155. So about a 23-yard return there. So the Quakers start in pretty good field position. And now Plainfield, they lost all 3 of their top receivers and their starting quarterback, 3 of the 4 playing college ball now. Luke Starnes about the only major star returning on offense. He was a sophomore last year, nearly 1,000 yards. So 2 receivers now, 1 to each side of the quarterback, 1 receiver to each side. 9:03 to go. And now fakes the handoff. And now that was Weston Wayrich. He was the second leading receiver last season. He averaged just over 5 yards a carry, got a couple of touchdowns. He's now a senior, second leading returning rusher. And now fakes the handoff, and Weston Wayrich gets it again. So Wayrich gets the ball the first 2. He got 5 on the first one. He got about 1 or 2 on this one. So 2 for 6. Yeah, they give him credit for 1. So it'll be 3rd and 4, a very big 3rd down and 4 for Plainfield at the Terre Haute South 49. So now Gabriel, hold on, 1 receiver to each side now. Now a handoff again to Luke Starnes, his first carry of the season, the leading receiver for last season, the leading rusher from last season, but he gets maybe just 1 there. So it looks like the Quakers are going to punt. They went for 3 fake punts last year. The first one against Greenfield worked brilliantly. The second 2 failed and ended up contributing to Quaker losses. Looks like they're going to go for the punt here after Starnes. And the punt is up. And it is, and it bounces inside the 10, takes a good Plainfield bounce, now close to the 5. All right, they down it around the 6. So at least the Braves will be starting in a bad field position. Hopefully the defense will take advantage. We do not want to go down by 2 touchdowns. We did last year, came back to win. But, you know, when you come back from a 2 touchdown deficit, that's great, but you can't count on 2 touchdown deficits being available to overcome every time, especially with largely a new offense. Plainfield, 3 rushes, 6 yards on their first possession. Likely there's not going to be a whole lot of passing. And the pizza is here from Donato's again this season. So now Brady Wilson and his newfound arsenal, like I said, first possession of the season for Terre Haute South. He completed 4 or 5 passes. Each pass completed to a different receiver, culminating with a 48-yard strike to Mason Lewis for the touchdown, bringing us to our current score of 7-0, 7-12, and counting. I'm not sure, 7-12, and the clock stopped here. Coming at you live here on Red Pride Stadium. This is our 17th consecutive season of bringing you Plainfield Quakers football here. So now, handoff there, and he gets up for about 5 or 6. So Suggs showing some promise here. He's picking 7. He's 3 for 12 on the ground now. That'll bring up 2nd and 3. Sorry, 2nd and 4. They give him credit for 6. So 2nd and 4 at the 12. So now Wilson takes the snap, drops it back. He's pressured. But he takes it himself. He's up to the 15, and he might have just gotten the first down. He needed to get to the 16. He might have gotten it in one more. We'll see where he gets the spot. There is a flag. There is a flag. It looks like it's going to be coming back. Okay. So that's a good break for the Quakers. Let's see where the spot is now. It's going to be holding against Terre Haute South, the first penalty of the season. Well, for Terre Haute South, and the first penalty of this game. Coming nearly halfway through the first quarter, 6:27 to go now. So now we go back to where the drive started at the 6. So it'll bring up 2nd and 10. So now we've got one receiver out to the left. Suggs is in there at the running back. Brady Wilson off to a great start for his senior season. You know, his college stock has already gone up a few points tonight. Takes a snap. Now pitches back to Suggs in the backfield. And he's knocked down with a gain of maybe 2. So we'll bring up 3rd and long. Now we got to get him off the field here. Got to get him off the field. That's all there is to it. Suggs picks up 2. He has all four. I almost hit Sycamore again. All 4 Braves rushes. All 4 Braves. Something about the city of Terre Haute. So now 2 receivers to the left, and now pressured, and he breaks the tackle up to the 25-30. So it's a first down and much more. And that was Mason Lewis. He had the touchdown. He picks up about 24 there. So very bad break for the Quakers defense. And just like that, Okay, they didn't give him quite as good as a spot. They didn't give him quite as good a spot as I wanted, as I thought. Excuse me, they didn't give him quite as good a spot as I thought. But nevertheless, Wilson's completed 5 of his first 6 passes, 97 yards and a touchdown. 2 of them for Lewis for 70 yards. So now 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Suggs, the running back. Suggs gets it. He's got a hole, but they come back to okay. So that was they did a good job of filling the hole there and limiting it to a gain of 4. Sorry, you got a little tongue-tied there. It's my first game in 301 days, so still getting in the swing of things. So 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. So, and now hands off, and he's stopped in his tracks. So now we got him for another. So that was Treva Branch. He is a senior who got the rush there for -1. 3rd and 7. Last time we failed to get him off the field on 3rd and 8. We got to get him off on 3rd and 7 now. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Branch in there at running back. Wilson in shotgun. Takes a snap, drops back, throws up the middle, and it is incomplete. Intended receiver was Suggs. They sent him long that time, but it did not work. So presumably Terre Haute South will punt. So the Quakers will get the ball back without going down by a second possession. Now we got a Terre Haute South player down here. Hopefully this is not serious. Hold on, I'm gonna go get my pizza here. My son is already digging into his. So yeah, I'm listening to the other broadcast crew here. They actually have a corporate sponsorship for their injuries. Maybe we got to get one here at audiosportsonline.com. But anyway, no. So anyway, now the player is getting up and walking off the field groggily, but on his own power. That's good to see, getting a nice ovation from these fans. It's Sean Murphy, a senior for the Braves, 6'3", 245. Very good size for a lineman. So now Terre Haute South, very unlikely that they'd go for a fake punt in this situation. For those of you just joining us, this is the first game of the 2024 season. Your score, Terre Haute South 7, Plainfield 0. This is a new-look Plainfield team. We lost our starting quarterback, Hunter Newell, who's playing up at Indiana Wesleyan. And then our top 3 receivers, Jameer Bowie, a senior, is now he's transferred to Avon, while Caden Vanderbush is now at Eastern Michigan, and Isaiah Miller at Marion. Hopefully, the new guys will, hold on. Now the punt here, nearly blocked. Starnes back deep to receive, and it takes a Terre Haute South bounce and it's down at the 26. So Plainfield, a mere 6 yards on their first possession, coming on 3 carries. Bryce Sabonk, a 6'2", 160-pound sophomore, is the starting quarterback for the Quakers. Last year's starter, Hunter Newell, began starting as a sophomore too. And we know how he turned out, one of the best quarterbacks in school history. So now 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Luke Starnes, the running back, fakes the handoff. And now Sabonk takes it himself. He's up past the 35. And he got maybe 1 or 2. So they give him, they marked him down at the line of scrimmage. So no passes yet for the Quakers. And now we've got a timeout here. No, actually, they said he had lost a yard. So 2nd and 11 for the Quakers at the 34. Trying to get something going on offense. Only 5 yards so far on 4 offensive plays. Terre Haute South dominating time of possession. That was a big key in our losses late last season to Whiteland in week 8 and then to Harrison in our first playoff game. So now screen pass, it's completed, but he only gets about 2 or 3 yards. Ryan Garver there on the reception. Devin Likens threw that pass there, and they give him credit for a 3. So a big 3rd and 8 for the Quakers. They haven't shown much on offense so far. Hopefully they'll get something here. Look, and there's some movement for the line and a flag. So let's see. False start against Plainfield. So another dreaded 3rd and long. 3rd and 13 now. Very critical play. So 3:34 to go and counting here in the first quarter. Plainfield a very critical 3rd and 13 at their own 32. 2 receivers now to the right. Handoff, fakes the handoff to Starnes. Screen pass is complete, but he's going to be far short of the first down. That's going to be to Brandon Hendry, who I had several 2-point conversions for us last year. He gets about 4 or 5 there. So it'll bring up a 4th down from the 38. Pickup of 6 there. So the Quakers will punt again. 2 players back deep to receive the punt for Terre Haute South. Say a mid-level kick, and it goes out of bounds around the Terre Haute South 43 or 44. So Terre Haute will begin its 3rd possession with a 7-0 lead. 3:11 to go here in the first quarter. 7:28 your time of day, coming at you live here at Plainfield. And they're going to mark it at the 50, so they got a Terre Haute South's got a better better spot than I expected. Well, last time Terre Haute South started at their own 6 after a good punt there by the Quakers. And they got 1 first down after converting on 3rd and 8 before their magic ran out. Now, however, they start much better field position. They move the ball at will on their first possession. This is going to be a very, very new look offense for Plainfield. Very new look. Probably not going to be a lot of passing yet. I'm hoping that there will be some chemistry between the quarterback and the receivers that develops as the season goes on. We saw that 10 years ago when then junior quarterback Colin Niswander built good chemistry late in the season with sophomore wide receivers sophomore wide receivers, Gavin Ritter and Dante Keys, and they ended up finishing very strong, getting all the way to the sectional championship game, losing to Ron Colley only by 7 points, and one of the best near wins in program history. A team that finished the regular season 2-7, but then won 2 playoff games against Danville and Northview. And, you know, I mentioned we lost to Ron Colley in the sectional championship game 24-17. They beat us 27-3 in week 4 of the regular season. So that shows how much we improved in just 8 weeks. So now, handoff there. And thanks for the handoff, and a screen pass to Suggs. He gets it, and he gets about 5 out of it. So Wilson has completed 6 of 8, and that puts him over 100 yards for the game. And we're only in the first quarter. So 2nd and 5 to now. A.J. Suggs off to a good start. His second reception to go with the 5 rushes already, 29 all-purpose yards for Suggs. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. 2 receivers to each side. Fakes the handoff to Suggs and then gets it to Branch, and he gets up near the first down. He's going to be a yard or 2 short. So they give him credit for 3. Branch is a senior who's paid his dues. You know, when you're a high school football player and you get to your senior year without playing much, you got that last year to impress college scouts. Branch showing a little promise here. So now Suggs, the only wide receiver, he's out to the right. Branch, the running back, and now they hand off there, and he's got a first down. That's T. Isaac Corbin, gets 3 or 4. That's his first carry of the game. He is a junior for the Braves. He's 5'7", 150. Corbin, the third Terre Haute South player to rush in this game, and the Braves totally dominating time of possession so far. Now Branch gets it. He breaks the tackle, but he's then brought down after a gain of about 3. So 2nd down and 7 at the 35. Treva Branch. 2nd and 7 for the Braves at the Plainfield 35. 50 seconds and counting now. Suggs goes all the way out to the far right. Now we've got Corbin there. Corbin and Branch in the backfield. Wilson under center. Fakes the handoff now and then gives it to Corbin, but he's brought down for a loss. So very big start. Oh, and he fumbled and we got it. We got it. Or was he? Okay, they're saying he was down. All right, well, still. And now we got a timeout here. Official timeout with 23.6 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Coming at you live here at Red Pride Stadium, game 1 of the season. Still got a lot of daylight. You know, one thing I've learned from 13 years of high school football commentary is that you lose about 10 minutes of daylight a week. So by the time we start the playoffs, it'll be dark once the game starts. So a very big 3rd down for the Quakers defense. Although I'd imagine that Terre Haute South is in I would imagine that this is 4-down territory. And Terre Haute South, however, does not have to run another play, and it looks like they're not going to. So after 1 quarter of play here in the 2024 season, your score, Terre Haute South 7, your Plainfield Quakers 0. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors on audiosportsonline.com. This broadcast of Plainfield Quakers football is brought to you through the generous donations of our sponsors. We would like to recognize them, and we hope you will support them. They are Remax Centerstone, Julia Berberich, Ganell Financial, Crone Family Construction, My IT Indy, Ryan Grimes, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, BGW Construction LLC, Legacy Motorsports, Crest Point Real Estate, Chris Pearson, Selwith Jones, the Stewart Home Group, Ellis and Associates. Thank you, sponsors. Your support of the student athletes of Plainfield High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Plainfield, we're about to start the second quarter of the season opener here in 2024 with your Plainfield Quakers trailing the Terre Haute South Braves by a score of 7-0. The only score of the game so far coming on a 48-yard pass from senior and three-year starter Brady Wilson to a sophomore, very promising sophomore, Mason Lewis. And the extra point was good, bringing us to a current score of 7-0. Now, Terre Haute South has it 3rd and 8 on the Plainfield 36, a very critical third down for the Quakers defense that struggled badly on the first drive, has played decently on the two ensuing drives. Their offense, however, very little. No first downs yet through two possessions. So now three receivers to the left, one to the right for the Braves. Brady Wilson already over 100 yards through the air in the first half, solidifying his college stock. He should be playing collegiately a year from now. So now Mason Lewis lined up to the right. Then we have A.J. Suggs, Ryan Hoole, and one other player whose number I cannot see from my vantage point out to the left. Branch now moves out to the right. Now Wilson drops back, throws into the end zone, and it is incomplete. And no flag. Wilson's completed 6 of 9. He completed just over 60% of his passes last year as a junior, his second year as the starter. He's guided the Braves to 11 wins in 2 years. The first time that they've won at least 5 games in consecutive seasons, believe it or not, in 24 years. This has largely been a struggling program. Head coach Tim Herron is starting to get it turned around. Also has a sectional championship to his credit at Terre Haute South. So now the Sycamore school, the Braves going for it on 4th and 8, and he throws deep, and it is overthrown. Some miscommunication, it looked like. So the Quakers take over on downs with 11:49 to go. Their first two possessions did not come close to a first down. Hopefully, this third one will. Excuse me. So now Plainfield takes the field. 2 receivers out to the left. Bryce Sabonk playing quarterback for the Quakers. And he hands off to Luke Starnes. He's got a hole. Pass to 40, 45, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20. Pushed out of bounds at the 20, but not before picking up about 44 yards. That's the kind of play we needed. First down of the season for the Quakers, coming with 11:40 to go here in the second quarter. They trail 7-0, but now they're in the red zone. So I gave him 2 extra yards, 2 more yards than I expected here. So now a handoff. Everybody trips this time. All right. They'll bring a second and 10 at the 18. So Starnes, 2 of his 3 carries went for 0 yards, but the middle one went for 46, and that's why we're in business now. Now we got to get a score here. Now we're in field goal range. Grimes Well, and now we got three receivers out to the right. Sabunk, and now he hands off to Starnes again, and this time he's up inside the 15, up to about the 12 or 13, so it'll bring third and about 5. Give him credit for 5. 4 for 51 for Starnes, including a 46-yarder. Very big third. Very big third down and 5 for the Quakers, although a field goal here would not be bad. We've shown we can move the ball against them now. And Starnes, who did not have a strong finish to last season after that great start. Not that it was his fault, but, we were playing from behind a lot. And so now 2 receivers to the left, 2 running backs. And now hand off to Wayrich. And he's going to be short of the first down. About 2 yards short. They're going to be about 4th and 2. Will they go for the field goal, the very makeable field goal, or will they go for the field goal? I have Weston Wayrich, 3 for 9 now for the senior, hoping to get a college scholarship himself. So 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Wayrich, the running back. And now a reverse, and he's got some room on the left side, and he could go all the way for the touchdown. Yes, beautiful reverse. All right, that was Ethan Ellis, a sophomore, and Plainfield is an extra point away from tying it. But will they go for the 2? They went on their 20 touchdowns last year. They went for on their 30 touchdowns last year. They attempted 22-point conversions and made 13 of them, 65%. They did also make all 10 of their extra point attempts, 5 each by Leo Hayob and Cameron Grimes. Hayob is going for the extra point here to tie it. It is up, and it is good, and we are tied. So a big sigh of relief here on the home side of the field as your Plainfield Quakers, anemic on their first 2 drives, but they get the job done on their third drive, scoring on a beautiful reverse by Ethan Ellis, a very promising young sophomore. And now the crowd, which was very tense for a while back in this game, the first score in nearly a quarter's worth of action. Terre Haute South's touchdown came with 9:11 to go in the first quarter. Plainfield's now with 9:38 to go here in the second quarter. Here on opening night in Plainfield, the lovely West Indiana suburb. But yeah, that was a beautifully executed play, though. And when you have a limited audience, offense, sometimes you got to outsmart them. I think the other team was expecting. I think Terre Haute South was expecting Wayrich to get it. He did, but then he lateraled back to Ellis, who took it in easily for the score. All right. Ellis's first rush of the season, 10 yards for the touchdown. And we are tied. But yeah, that's a very encouraging sign. Of course, last year we went down 13-0 to Terre Haute South before we knew it hit us. But we were poised in our first game under our new head coach. Came back, got the win. This was a game coming in. I thought that it was about a 50-50 proposition. Normally, Terre Haute South is a team that we would beat easily. But with Brady Wilson and some of their other returning players, they should be decent this year, especially coming after 6 and 5 wins the last 2 years. And now got another touchback. So 2 touchbacks to start off the season for Hayob, a very promising sign. Hayob last year on kickoffs. So now, just looking for trying to see how many touchbacks Hayob got last year, but now, so now Lewis lined up to the right for the Braves here, 2 receivers to the left. Brady Wilson off to a very good start, but the The Braves have stalled on the last two drives with a punt and a turnover on downs. Wilson now, and he's about to get sacked. He gets away from it, and now he is sacked. All right. So Plainfield now starting to make some good defensive stops. So that's going to be a loss of about the loss of two there for Wilson. Second and 12 now for the Quakers, for the Braves, excuse me. Game tied at 7, 9 minutes to go here in the second quarter and counting. Two receivers to each side now. One running back, Wilson in shotgun. Takes a snap, drops back, and he's pressured. Throws upfield, and it is deflected. He threw it to double coverage, going for Suggs. And he's lucky it wasn't intercepted. So now 3rd and 12. So no excuse for not getting off the field here, boys. So now Wilson is incomplete on his last 3 passes after going 6 of his first 8, completing 6 of his first 8. 7:46 your time of day here. Mostly blue sky here, just a few clouds in the distance. 82 degrees just before kickoff. A high of 83 today here in Plainfield, and now Terre Haute South taking its first time out here with 8:46 to go here in the second quarter with the game tied at 12, facing a critical 3rd and 12. 3rd and 12 at their own 18. So we'll be back after these words from our sponsors on AudioSportsOnline.com. This broadcast of Plainfield Quakers football is brought to you through the generous donations of our sponsors. We would like to recognize them and hope you will support them. They are Remax Centerstone, Julia Berberich, Canal Financial, Crow & Family Construction, My IT Indy Ryan Grimes, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, BGW Construction LLC, Legacy Motorsports, Crestwood Real Estate, Chris Pearson, Selwith Jones, the Stewart Home Group, and Ellis and Associates. Thank you, sponsors. Your support for the student athletes of Plainfield High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Plainfield, we're ready to resume play with 8:46 to go here in the second quarter of the season opening game with your Plainfield Quakers tied with the visiting Terre Haute South Braves 7-7. Terre Haute South has the ball 3rd and 12 at their own 18. 3 receivers to the left now, one to the right, one running back. Brady Wilson, the star senior quarterback, 3-year starter there in shotgun. He takes it. He's pressured. He gets rid of it, and it is intercepted. And he falls down immediately with the ball, and I couldn't tell who got it, but a great job. So now Plainfield takes over at the Terre Haute South 34 with all the momentum after stalling badly on their first 2 drives. So now we've got to take advantage. Wilson has been a tale of 2 quarters for him. He started off 6 of his first 8 for 102 yards and a touchdown. Now his last 4 passes, 0 completions, 1 interception. Wilson should be playing college ball a year from now. $22 touchdowns versus only 8 interceptions last year, nearly a 3-to-1 ratio. So now 1 receiver now, and we got now a handoff, and we got at least 2 flags down. They gave it to Ellis coming off the touchdown, but he was tackled out of bounds for a loss. But let's see what the holding on Plainfield. So 10-yard penalty for the Quakers. Setback. So anyway, well, the only pizza left is the veggies, so I'm done with my pizza for the day. So anyway, That's okay. I am deeply thankful to the Plainfield staff for providing us pizza here, to us media people, for all these years. This is my 13th year now covering the Quakers. Hopefully the 13th of many more. As long as you all keep giving me the chance to do this, I'll keep coming back. So now Plainfield, so 2nd and 14 now. Okay, so 2nd and 14 at the Terre Haute South 38-4 Plainfield. 8:17 to go and counting. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Now a handoff there to Starnes. He's got right open space down to the 20, 15, 10, 5, out of bounds at the 5. So that's about a 33-yard rush by Luke Starnes. He already has a 46-yarder on the game, and we're about 5 yards away from, they give him credit for 33. So Starnes, after not getting a chance to do much late last year when playing from behind, largely neutralized our rushing offense with 2 very big rushes here tonight of 46 and 33 yards. First one set up a touchdown. Maybe this one will too. Plainfield is 5 yards away from the lead now. Let's do it, boys. Make them play from behind. So 2 receiver now, handoff to Starnes, and he's into the end zone for the touchdown. Luke Starnes, all right. We got the lead, 8:02 to go. So Plainfield, 2 touchdowns, 1 minute and 36 seconds apart to get the lead for the first time of the young season. Well, I'll tell you, Brady Wilson, a great quarterback, but he made a couple of questionable decisions with his passes on that last drive, throwing one into double coverage and then throwing one that was intercepted. So now Hayabi was good on the first extra point, and the second one is up, and it is good. So with 8:02 to go here in the second quarter, your Plainfield Quakers lead for the first time here in the 2024 season. Your score, Plainfield 14, Terre Haute South 7 here on audiosportsonline.com. All right. Well, I'll tell you, after Starnes had that 33-yard rush to take it from the 38 down to the 5, it was poetic justice that he got the score too, rather than just setting it up as he did on the last drive. Nearly a third of the way through this season opening game, and the tightness, the tension of the Plainfield fans is, calms down a lot. Meanwhile, it's gone the other direction across the field of the visiting bleachers, where you see stunned silence. Terre Haute South, the 100 or so fans who made the trip, our trip down I-70, disappointed in the way things have gone south for them after that tremendous start where they scored easily on their opening drive, that 48-yard touchdown pass from Brady Wilson to Mason Lewis. Now Plainfield, 2 touchdowns, a mere 96 seconds apart to take the lead. And, Terre Haute South fans who remember last year's game got to remember they led 13-0. Then we finished off the game with 32 unanswered points. And Hayab, 3 kickoffs, 3 touchbacks for the new season. So he's upped his college stock in this game tonight. Luke Starnes, 6 carries, 89 yards, and a touchdown. Picking up where he left off through about the first 7 games last year before the season unraveled. He still finished with 954 yards as a sophomore. So now two receivers to the right, one to the left. Now two receivers to each side. Now Wilson in shotgun, fakes the handoff. Now throws to Lewis, and he's got some room, and he's got the first down and more up to about the 34 or 35. So Wilson finally completes another pass after his last four had 0 completions and an interception. And wisely turning to Lewis, who had two previous receptions for 48 and 22 yards, picks up 14 there. Now in the next play, Wilson, and now it's intercepted. Bringing up 2nd and 10 from the 34, 7:38 to go. But that before the last incompletion, the completion to Lewis, the 14-yarder, was Wilson's first completion here of the second quarter. He had 6 for 102 yards in the first quarter, including that 48-yard touchdown. So far, the only score of the game for the Braves. So now two receivers to the left, one to the right. Takes a snap. He's pressured, and now he runs it himself for a gain of maybe 1 or 2. I'll tell you, I really like the pressure that Plainfield is starting to put on Wilson. You know, one thing that we learned the hard way last year, really it's starting with the Whiteland game, and then, through the Martinsville and Harrison game, the 30-game losing streak that ended the season. We saw what happens when the other team plays the game that they want to play rather than the game we want to play. Right now, Plainfield's playing the game that we want to play. We got to keep it up. If we do that, we're going to have a good shot to get out of here with the win. So now, and now they swarm him, and he gets it off, but it's caught for a gain of maybe 1. That was Corbin there on the reception. So Wilson does get a reception, but not for much. So Corbin with his first reception, and they give him credit for 0 on that one. So Starnes back deep to receive this punt for the Quakers, and we got added the plays whistle dead. So it's going to be delay of game against Terre Haute South. So that'll back it up 5 yards to the 29. So Starnes now standing in Plainfield territory at the 39. Already a very good game, showing that he's and now it hits a Terre Haute South player and bounce. Oh no! It hit a Terre Haute South player in the back, and a Terre Haute South player grabbed it. Oh no! So great luck for the Braves. Hopefully they won't capitalize on it. Plainfield, took the lead for the first time with 8:02 to go in the second quarter. Now 6:38 to go. Your score: Plainfield 14, Terre Haute South 7. For the 17th consecutive season, audiosportsonline.com is your source for Plainfield football. This is my 13th year as part of the ride. Enjoying it now as much as ever. So now we've got Lewis to the left. And now Terre Haute South takes, I believe, its second timeout. So I think they want to make sure that they capitalize on this because their offense has not been good after that opening possession. They started off like they planned to, massacre us, but we've come back, strong ever since. And really, those first 2 drives, I was expecting our offense to not be quite so dynamic. losing Newell and Bowie and Vanderbush and Miller. But, yeah, Starnes is, looking better than ever. And Ethan Ellis looked very good on that touchdown rush. And, I think, you give us a season and we'll develop a passing offense. Like I said, we did 10 years ago. I saw a tremendously improved passing offense over those 10 games that year. Hard to believe it was a full decade ago. So now 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Wilson in shotgun, takes it, picks the handoff there, and now throws deep up the middle. He's got a man open, and he just doesn't get the grip of it. Maxwell was open, but yeah, just didn't quite get it. Wilson started off 8 of 6 now, 6 of 8, now he's 8 of 16. 2nd and 10 for the Braves at the 48. They're lucky that they, got a break there after that punt. It's, inadvertently hit Terre Haute South player in the back, and they recovered it. So now drops back Wilson, and we got him. Oh man, he got him out of a sack. He rushed up and he picked up about 5. So good second effort by Wilson. Man, I was so excited. I thought we got him for a sack. Boy, there were 2 guys who had their hands on him. So Wilson showing a lot of slipperiness. They only gave him credit for 4. I thought he'd get a little more than that. I thought it was more like 5 or 6. Nevertheless, so it's a great second effort, though. We nearly had him for about a 5-yard loss. So now Terre Haute South, a very, very critical 3rd and 6. They don't want us to get the ball with a chance to take a 2-possession lead here. 2 receivers to each side now. 1 running back. Wilson takes it, and we're blitzing him again. He throws it up the middle, and this time it's caught there by Lewis inside the 30, inside the 25. So that's the kind of play that they needed. Mason Lewis, very promising sophomore for the Braves. Pickup of 22 there. Biggest gain for Terre Haute South here in the second quarter. So now for Terre Haute South, 1st and 10 at the Plainfield 22, 5:25 to go in counting. Here in the second quarter, Plainfield 14, Terre Haute South 7. Game 1 of 9 in the regular season. And now handoff there, and he breaks the tackle, and he's inside the 15, inside the 10, inside the 5, and he gets the touchdown. Broken 3 or 4 tackles. In the meantime, Ty Isaac Corbin there, and the Braves are an extra point away from tying it. So all of a sudden, a rejuvenated offense there for Terre Haute South, which had largely been lethargic since that brilliant opening drive. So now Mallory going for the extra point. This would tie it. It is up, and it is good, and we are tied. So 5:12 to go here in the second quarter, and now the Terre Haute South fans now getting back into it after quite a bit of nervousness for much of the second quarter from that side. Now we got to get those points back. Also remember, we do get the ball first to start the second half. So best case scenario for the Quakers, get a touchdown with little or no time left here in the half, then come out to start off the third quarter, get a touchdown, take a 2-touchdown lead, and then we're in the driver's seat. 5:12 to go here in the second quarter in the season opening game. Plainfield and Terre Haute South tied at 14. The Braves were outstanding on their first and last drive, not much in between. Plainfield, meanwhile, started off very lethargically on offense before coming alive with 2 rushing touchdowns. So now Mallory set to kick off. Nobody back deep to receive for the Quakers. Come on, boys. Mid-level kick. Taking it about the 27, up to the 30, 35. It's got a hole, up to the 40. So Ellis, who scored the first touchdown here, takes up to about the 42. Both Terre Haute South kickoffs in this game have been short ones. So the Quakers, pretty good field position, taking over at their own 42, 5:06 to go. Plenty of time. Still all 3 timeouts. Terre Haute South has used 2 of theirs. So well-coached team when you save your all 3 timeouts each half for the last 2 minutes for when you really need them. So now 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, 2 running backs. Sabank in quarterback, in shotgun. Low snap, and he gets it. Hands off to Starnes. He's hit at the line of scrimmage, but he spins around, picks up about 2. That'll bring up about 2nd and 8, under 5 minutes to go now in the first half. 8:06 your time of day. We started a little bit late because unconventionally we had senior day here at opening week this year. So 2 receivers now to the right. And now screen pass out to Wayrich. He gets around and he's out of bounds after picking the first down. I couldn't tell if the pass was backwards or forwards. It was almost in an exact straight line, but nevertheless they're giving he got out of bounds at the 45 for the first down. Pickup of 11 there for Wayrich. So now, hand off to Starnes, and he picks up about another 2 or 3. Looks like about another 2 or so for. Basically, give him credit for 2 there. So 2nd and 8, Plainfield at the Terre Haute South 43. Bryce Sabank, a 6'2", 160-pound sophomore, starting at quarterback for Plainfield tonight. He's passed sparingly. Now fakes the handoff. Now pitches it back, and he's got Starnes there for a gain of about 8. He might have the first down. Yes, he does. So Luke Starnes already over 100 yards in the first half tonight. Give him credit for 8 there. So now Sabank throws, and he's got a completion there for about 6. That was Mason Beers, like Mason, and then Beers, like the drink with an S on the end. Picks up 5 there. So now Sabank starting to find some action through the air. Second and 5 now at the Terre Haute South 29, 3:11 to go and counting. I like the way they're keeping the strive, keeping the clock and the chains moving. Now drops back, throws up the middle. He's got it, a completion inside the 10. All right. So that was Ryan Garber there, his second reception of the game. So now Plainfield inside the 10. First down and goal at the 9. And now fakes the handoff. Now pitches, and now we've got a flag there He takes it inside the 10. That's Ellis. He takes it down to about the 5, knocked out of bounds. But let's see what this flag's about. Holding against Plainfield, so that'll bring it back 10 yards. So let's see where they mark it. 2:31 to go here in the first half. Plainfield and Terre Haute South tied at 14, but Plainfield has it in their red zone. That'll bring first and goal at the 19 after that holding penalty there. So 4 plays to go, 19 yards. Although remember, a field goal would put us in. So now low snap, but pitches out, and that was Ellis who makes the catch. And now we got a he gained about 2, but then there's it looks like there's going to be an unsportsmanlike conduct after I'm not sure if it looked like he celebrated too much, but I think it's going to be unsportsmanlike conduct. And it was a few seconds after the play. And if so, that's a huge break for Plainfield. When it was going to be second and goal at about the 17. No, personal foul. I guess they decided there's an illegal hit. So that's an automatic first down for the Quakers. Let's see where they mark it. So half the distance to the goal. So first and goal at the 8. All right. Personal foul is automatic first down. So now there's 2 receivers to the right. Starnes, the running back. Sabunk, the sophomore, doing pretty well in his first start here. This has been Hunter Newell's team completely the last 2 years, about half his team 2 years ago. Now, it gives it to Starnes. He's up for about 3 or 4. Starnes already over 100 yards, returning to the form he was in the first few games last year, already 10 carries tonight and a touchdown. Also set up another touchdown. Give him 3 there, so second and goal at the 5. Under 2 minutes. I like the way we're using a lot of the time before we score, but we got to score, don't you know? And now hands off to Starnes, but he trips. He trips right around the line of scrimmage, so that'll bring up third down. And now will Plainfield start to use its timeout? That's their first though, so they're still in good shape. I like this timeout here. We're under 2 minutes. We're tied. Third and goal at the 5. We just want to make sure we get the touchdown. Field goal will put us ahead. Obviously, we're in Hayob's range, but you really want to get the touchdown. And, so then that means if we get any score to start off the second half, when we get the ball first, we got a 2-possession lead, and we clearly have the momentum. And it really is going to force Indiana, Terre Haute South mainly to throw a lot. And, that'll help us to be in a situation where we can win largely just by taking away the big play. That's the situation we were in those last 3 games last year. So I think we've learned a lot from the last 301 days. It's I really like, like the way that these kids have played for the most part tonight. Okay, I'm sorry. It was fourth down. I thought it was an automatic first down off that penalty. So now they are going for a field goal here. This would be a 28-yarder. This should be pretty well a chip shot for Hayob. This will put us in the lead. The kick is up, and it is good, and we got the lead back. So a 28-yard field goal by Leo Hayob, and your Quakers lead Terre Haute South 17-14. It's been a very exciting game so far. 1:39 to go here in the first half. This was almost the identical score that we had at the halftime last year. Then it was 17-13, and we had clearly established the momentum after a slow start. We went down 13-0, then got a touchdown, then a field goal, then another touchdown. So, and we never looked back from there. So 1:39 to go here in the second quarter here in game 1 of 9 in the 2024 season. The 2024 regular season. Of course, we got the playoffs after that. In fact, we're in a new sectional this year that I'm going to talk about. Only one team in common from the sectional that we were in the last 2 years. Deep kick. And it goes to the end zone, sir. Leo Hayob, his college stock's gone up several points tonight. 4 kickoffs, 4 touchbacks, 2 for 2 on extra points, 1 for 2 on field goals. What a way to start off your senior season. You know, I didn't like our slow start in the Terre Haute South game last year, nor did I like it tonight. Tonight, I think it's even last year. I mean, it was our first quarter ever under our new head coach. And then tonight, I think there were even more mitigating circumstances because, we had, except for starts, basically almost an entire new offense. Well, we did return a lot of the linemen, but other than that, it was completely new. And now Corbin takes the first play, only gets up about 2 yards. We can afford to give them, give up all the 2 and 3 yard gains that they want. Corbin has had a good game, but only gets 2 or 3 there. He had a 22-yard touchdown earlier in this quarter. So now Wilson takes it, and he's pressured, and now it's caught. Lewis has got it for the first down, gets out of bounds after a pickup of about 9. Mixed game tonight for Brady Wilson starting off his senior season. Completed 10 of 18 passes. 146 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Lewis, obviously, they're very excited they got that young man back for 2 more years. 5 for 114 through the air tonight on receiving, including the 48-yard touchdown. So now we're making him. We're putting him under a lot of pressure. And he throws it, though, and Suggs makes the catch for the first down. I like the pressure we're putting on Wilson, but we left, Suggs open right there. So now that's about a 17-yard gain there by Suggs. So now Wilson drops back, and he's got a Suggs again, and this time he's got another first down out of bounds on the left side around the 40. So now Wilson's starting to heat up again. Though they didn't give him quite as good a spot as I thought. It gave him a gain of 8, still 2nd and 2 at the Plainfield 44 now. Wilson drops back now. He's pressured, and he's hit, and he throws it away. Bringing up 3rd and 2 now, stopping the clock with 48.6 seconds to go in the first half. Terre Haute South trailing by 3. They'd like to get the lead going back into the half, especially since Plainfield gets the ball first to start the second half. Third and 2 at the Plainfield 44 now for Terre Haute South. Your score: Plainfield 17, Terre Haute South 14. And now it's intercepted, and he could take it all the way for the touchdown. 40, 35, one man to beat. 20, 15, and he's down to the 10. All right. Oh, my God. Oh, man. That was Brady Sabonk, the senior. We got a flag. Hopefully it will not negate the interception. Let's see. I did not see the flag till after the play. As long as it's after the interception, the interception, counts even if it's against us. But let's see. So Wilson making some, having mostly a good game, but a couple of mistakes also here. 37.4 seconds to go on the clock. We got officials still deliberating. At least 2 flags thrown. Personal foul on Plainfield. But it was after the interception, so the interception does count. And we still got 2 timeouts left. Now the question is where they're going to spot it. So let's see here. So 2 interceptions after only throwing 8 all of last season. That's certainly a blotch on Wilson's game so far, something he's going to want to shake off in the remainder of senior season. And this should be, the Braves should have a solid chance at getting their 3rd consecutive season of 5 or more wins. So now 37.4 seconds to go. Plainfield, they're spotting it at the 50. So still with a fair chance to get a score here. 2 receivers to each side now. Sabonk in shotgun. He's heated up now. And now he fakes it, takes it himself, and he gets up for about 6 or 7. I wish he'd gotten out of bounds. Now are they going to take the timeout here? He pick up, and yeah, they do with 27.1 seconds to go. We'll have the ball at the 44 after a 6-yard gain by Sabonk, the promising sophomore quarterback here. Plainfield 17, Terre Haute South 14. 27.1 seconds to go in the second quarter. The Quakers have the ball 2nd and 4 at the 44, at the Terre Haute South 44. 1 timeout left. They just used their 2nd. One week from tonight, the Quakers will play their first road game of the season up in Tippecanoe County against an extremely familiar opponent, the Harrison Raiders, who we've played twice in each of the previous 2 seasons. Once in the regular season, then again in the playoffs each time. The team that lost in the regular season avenged that loss in the playoffs. 3 of the 4 matchups have been up there. As will next week's. I guess that means they'll be visiting us for the regular season next year. So now back to action here. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Now fakes the handoff. Sabonk looks deep, throws deep for the first time in the game, and it is incomplete. So that'll stop the clock. 3rd and 4, 21.3 seconds to go. 3rd and 4 at the Terre Haute South 44. Plainfield leading 17-14. By my count, that's only Sabonk's 2nd incompletion and his first deep pass of the game, like I said. So 2 receivers to each side now. Still 1 timeout left. and the clock will stop for a first down. So now handoff to Starnes, and he does have the first down. That'll stop the clock temporarily to move the chains. Let's see how urgent they are, and will they use the timeout here? So now the clock's still running, and they got that timeout. So now handoff, a pass, and it's out of bounds with 4 seconds to go. Got it to Garver for a pickup of about 5 or 6. So a time for probably just one play. It's a slight chance you might be able to get 2. So they're going for a field goal. This is a 49-yarder. I mean, this is Hagee Brothers caliber. Boy, they're showing a lot of faith in that young man. The snap. It's going to be really close, and it's short. Good effort. Would have gone from probably 40, 41 yards maybe. Nevertheless, overall, a good first half. That could have been a great first half for your Quakers. Nevertheless, they overcome a shaky start, and they lead at the half 17-14 over the Terre Haute South Braves in the 2024 season opener. We'll be back with a recap and some other cool stuff after these words from our sponsors on audiosportsonline.com. This broadcast of Plainfield Quakers football is brought to you through the generous donations of our sponsors. We would like to recognize them, and we hope you will support them. Remax Centerstone, Julia Berberich, Gunnell Financial, Crone Family Construction, My IT Indy, Ryan Grimes, I-70 Record Service and Garage, BGW Construction LLC, Legacy Motorsports, Crest Point Real Estate, Chris Pearson, Selwith Jones, the Stewart Home Group, and Ellis and Associates. Thank you, sponsors. Your support for the student athletes of Plainfield High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Plainfield, we're at halftime of the season opening game with your Plainfield Quakers in a barn burner leading the Terre Haute South Braves 17-14. It's been a wild and woolly game of wild momentum swings and ups and downs by both teams. Terre Haute South got the ball first, and on their first possession scored at will. They moved the ball at will and then scored at will on a 48-yard touchdown pass from Brady Wilson to promising sophomore Mason Lewis with 9:11 to go in the quarter. The extra point by Margot Mallory made the score 7-0. And then on Plainfield's first 2 possessions, they gained 6 yards each. Did not get a first down to either time. However, on Terre Haute South's next few drives, they struggled to move the ball with a combination of turnovers on downs, punts, and an interception. And then finally, with 9:38 to go in the second quarter, a beautiful reverse put Plainfield on the scoreboard for the first time of the season. Sophomore quarterback Bryce Sabank handed off to Weston Wayrich, who then on a trick play laterals to Ethan Ellis running in the opposite direction, and Ellis, promising sophomore, scored from 10 yards out, and Leo Hayob hit the extra point, making the score 7-7. Then after an interception on Terre Haute South's ensuing possession, Hayob Starnes rushed 33 yards up to the 5, then rushed it in for the touchdown from 5 yards. And Hayob's extra point put Plainfield up 14-7, giving them their first lead of the game. However, after Terre Haute South punted on their ensuing drive, the punt accidentally hit one of their players in the back, and they recovered and went on to tie the game on a 22-yard rush from Ty Isaac Corbin, along with the extra point by Mallory. And then finally, with 1:39 to go in the half, Leo Hayob hit a 28-yard field goal, making the score 17-14. And then after a second interception by Wilson, Plainfield attempted on the last play of the half a 49-yard field goal by Hayob that ended up being several yards short, though it should be noted that all 4 of Hayob's kickoffs have gone for touchbacks tonight. So very promising start to that young man's senior season. Look at the individual statistics, first of all, for Plainfield. Bryce Sabank, the sophomore, making his varsity starting debut. He's overall played pretty well, completed 5 of 8 passes for 47 yards. No big receiving numbers for anybody, but some solid numbers. Ryan Garver, who's actually a junior, has 2 receptions for 23 yards. Brandon Hendry has 1 for 6. Weston Wayrich, 1 for 11. Mason Beers, 1 for 5. And Ethan Ellis, a sophomore, 1 for 2. On the ground, Luke Starnes, looking like he's back to the kind of player that he was in the first 6 or 7 games last year. Just under 10 yards a carry, 11 rushes for 109 yards and a touchdown. Has rushes of 46 and 33 yards. Each of which set up a touchdown, one of which he scored. And then in addition to Weston Wayrich, the senior, Starnes' main backup last year, 3 rushes for 9 yards, and then the quarterback, Bryce Sabank, 2 for 5. Meanwhile, for Terre Haute South, a very mixed game for senior starting quarterback Brady Wilson, a 3-year starter, has high college aspirations. He's completed 12 of 22 passes for 146 yards, 1 touchdown, but 2 interceptions. His leading receiver, by far, very promising sophomore Mason Lewis, 5 receptions for 114 yards and a touchdown. AJ Suggs, 4 for 37. Chris Heron, the coach's son, 1 for 14. Let's see. Ty Isaac Corbin has. Ty Isaac Corbin has 1 for 0, and Callahan has 1, or Tyshawn Callahan has 1 for 6. On the ground, not as much to report for Terre Haute South. Ty Isaac Corbin has 4 rushes for 29 yards and a touchdown. The touchdown coming from 22 yards. AJ Suggs, 5 for 17. Trevon Branch, 3 for 5, and Brady Wilson, 3 for 2. So basically, I excuse Plainfield for their fairly lethargic start on offense, except for Starnes. All their quarterback and all their running backs and receivers did not play much last year. Wayrich played a decent amount, but other than that, these are basically newcomers, mostly sophomores and juniors. And they look shaky on the first possession, but once Starnes got that 46 yards, or that 46-yard rush early in the second quarter, that's when we finally got our confidence, I think. And, we've moved the ball consistently well ever since. And as long as we continue that and don't make any mental mistakes, I think we're going to be all right and get out of here with the win today. Meanwhile, Terre Haute South, after that terrific first drive where, they were nearly flawless, and I thought it might be a long night, especially after we gained only 12 yards total and no first downs on our first 2 drives. They really started to slow down, and then Wilson started taking some pretty big chances, threw 2 interceptions and another one that easily could have been intercepted. So I think Wilson, if anything else, after we got back in the game, he got a little shaky and started feeling like he just had to take the game over. And I think if I were his coach, Coach Heron for Terre Haute South, I would just tell him to relax and just try to shake up those 2 interceptions and just go out there in the second half and, do what got them that 7-0 lead that they kept for, nearly a quarter. So anyway, right now, things looking good for us. Last year it was 17-13 at the half in our first game. Now it's 17-14. We clearly had the momentum by a mile at that point, a year ago. We were down 13-0, then all of a sudden ran off 17 points on 3 scores. Terre Haute South had dried up by then, and they never got it going again after that. It's not quite the same thing this time. Terre Haute South did have that good drive in the later in the second quarter to tie it. But I think Wilson, I think, those 2 interceptions are going to be in his head. And I think the thing is, he was not prepared for it, the kind of pressure that we started putting on him the last several drives. So if we can keep that up and, force him to get rid of the ball sooner than he wants to and make him feel like he has to make some heroic plays for his team to have a chance to win, I think we're going to win. But we just can't make any more middle mistakes like on that punt, where we were going to get the ball back with a chance to take a 2-possession lead. But the ball hit the Terre Haute South player, and they ended up retaining possession. We got to avoid stuff like that. Other than that, I think, once your first quarter of the season and you have so much new personnel, I think you got to grave on a little bit of a curve. But I give the Quakers a solid B for their first half performance. And really, I would say a C+ for the first quarter. An A- for the second quarter. Hopefully we'll play 2 A quarters in the third and fourth and get out of here with a win and carry some momentum next week into that big showdown at Harrison, where, we're going to be running and gunning for each other. And Harrison is a team that, like us, entered the season with a whole lot of question marks. Almost all of the players who tormented us in those 2 losses to them the last 2 years are gone now. Chris Ferguson is the only one who's back, and we'll see how much of the load he can carry as a senior. Terry Peebles, has 9 winning seasons in 10 as the head coach there up in Tippecanoe County. But this is he has a lot of heavy losses to fill, so it wouldn't surprise me if they're a year away from being a winning team again. So basically, we got 5:30 on the halftime clock here. Not as long a halftime, not as much time on the halftime clock today, maybe because of the senior day festivities that start the day, that started the evening today. For those of you who missed it, our senior day, believe it or not, was today. Normally, as long as I've been here at Plainfield these last 12 years, this will be my 13th, it's always been the day of the final regular season home game. But Coach Bless said on his show this week that they decided to try opening night so it'll be better attended, because last year it suffered from low attendance because it was during fall break when a lot of people were away. And of course, fall break was something they didn't even have when I was a kid, so that wasn't even a factor for us. We did have teachers in service, which was sometime in October, but I think generally school was always in session when we had our senior day. Where I went to school in Madison, Indiana, in the southeastern part of the state there in Jefferson County, home of the Madison Regatta boat race that some of you might have heard of. So anyway, right now, let's take a look at how the other 5 Hendricks County teams are starting their season. Starting in Class 6A, the 2-time state champion Brownsburg Bulldogs opened the season ranked number 7 in the AP poll. Tonight, they host 10-time state champion Fort Wayne Dwinger, the Saints, who are ranked 14th in Class 4A. John Hart is starting, believe it or not, his 9th season as the head coach there at Brownsburg, and he's won 2 sectional championships there at the school. Last year, Brownsburg went 9-1, having an undefeated regular season, but losing its playoff opener 28-25 to eventual state champion Ben Davis. Also in Class 6A, the Avon Orioles try to get back on track, try to get back to the magic of the 2010s after only 5 wins combined over the last 3 years. Tonight, they visit the Lafayette Jeff Broncos, who are ranked number 15 in Class 5A. Avon went 2-8 last year in the debut of head coach Rob Gibson, who came over after a very successful 3 years at Owen Valley down in the lovely community of Spencer. Well, this year we have a team in Class 4A in Hendricks County for the first time in 10 years. The Danville Warriors moved back up after spending the last 9 years in 3A. Tonight Danville hosts the Gibson Southern Titans, the number 4 team in Class 3A. Last year, Danville went 7-3, and they're now entering year number 5 under head coach Jamie Comer, who led the Warriors to the Class 3A state championship game back in 2020, where they lost to Bishop Chatard. Speaking of Class 3A, the 4-time state champion Tri-West Bruins visit the Western Panthers. Tri-West went 11-2 last year, winning their 14th sectional championship. Head coach Jason Ward is entering his 6th season with the Bruins and has led the program to 2 sectional championships. And finally, the Cascade Cadets move up from Class 2A to 3A. They visit the lovely community of Trafalgar to play the Indian Creek Braves. Cascade has gone 6-5 each of the last 2 seasons and is now starting its 5th season under head coach Connor Simmons. Well, I said in the first segment that Plainfield's slogan coming into the season has got to be finish strong. Finish strong. And, I said that in the final broadcast last year that 39-13 playoff loss at Harrison up there in Tippecanoe County, where we'll be 1 week from tonight. And, what I meant, what I meant simply last year, 2 years ago, we started weak, finished strong. Last year, we started strong, finished weak. This year, of course, you want to be strong all year long, but it's far more important to be strong at the end than the beginning. So, what I hope that we would do in the off season, which turned out to be 301 days, would be to take what went right, for those 6 wins last year, 5 of them to start the season, and then week 7, the blowout 38-3 win over Franklin. Take the many things that went right in those games, but fix what went wrong otherwise. And I thought if we did that, we could slay a lot of the demons of the last season. And what I've seen in the first half tonight, it gives me a lot of hope that we're going to do that, especially considering that, we have a largely new cast of characters here. The team has shown a lot of promise so far, and we're now that we're 1/18 of the way through this regular season. But in addition to that, the whole finish strong slogan started to resonate even more strongly with me when I saw what some of our mid-state conference rivals did. 4 or 5 games into last season, it looked like we had the conference championship in the bag, and unfortunately it slipped out of the bag. But let's look at the way other teams in the conference finished strong last year. Decatur Central started off 2-2, looked like they were going to have a rare down year for them. They then ran off 9 consecutive wins, got all the way to the Class 5A state championship game, losing to Fort Wayne Snyder, their second trip to the Class 5A state championship game in the last 6 years. When we entered that Whiteland game last year, even though that they had won the last 6 against us and 12 of the last 13, we went into that game last year thinking we were going to win because they were 3-4, having a rare off year. But then starting that night, they won 4 games in a row, culminating with a sectional championship. Mooresville, we did beat in the regular season, snapping a 5-game losing streak to them. And they only finished the regular season 4-5. But then they got hot in the sectional and won their sectional. And finally, Greenwood, though they did start off 3-0, then they lost 5 of their last 6 in the regular season. Looked like they'd lost their momentum, but they won their first 2 tournament games, got all the way to the sectional championship for the first time in 5 years. So we finished weak, but 4 of our conference rivals finished strong. And I figured even more, that's what we got to aspire to. So right now it looks promising we're going to do that. So we just got to keep the eye of the tiger, keep focused. And now they put a little more time back on the halftime clock. Right now there's 1:35 to go. But, I know I talked, during halftime one game last year when we were still undefeated about the movie Rocky III. Now, if you listen to me, you figure out pretty quickly that I'm a super diehard fan of the Rocky and now the Creed movies. And it's not so much that I'm a boxing fan. I do enjoy boxing, but to me, those movies are far more about life than they're about boxing. They're all 9 of those movies are just filled with timeless life lessons, and there are some common lessons among the 9, and there's some unique lessons to each of them as well. And one of the unique lessons to Rocky 3 is the danger of complacency with your success. And I love that opening montage of the movie where you see they go back between, you see Rocky Balboa. He had all that hunger in the first 2 movies. And now he's the heavyweight champion of the world. He's fighting a lot of cupcakes, retaining his title. And he's got millions of dollars, a life of luxury, very happily married. Of course, that's good. And, he's on the Muppet Show. He's making an American Express commercial. And then you see Clubber Lang, played, of course, by Mr. T, who's just, hungry, and he's out, training like a relentless animal. And then, Rocky reluctantly accepts the challenge. Rocky's going to retire after they dedicate the statue to him. And, he announces his retirement. And then Clubber Lang gets Rocky to come out of retirement by inviting Rocky's lovely wife, Adrian, to come over to his apartment that night so he can show her a real man. But then Rocky, he doesn't take his training seriously. He trains in a Las Vegas circus-type atmosphere, and he gets destroyed and loses the title. And then he's visited by his old rival turned friend, Apollo Creed, played by the late, great Carl Weathers. And he makes Rocky realize that he lost that fight for all the wrong reasons, and now he has to get the eye of the tiger back. So he takes, Rocky not to train in some kind of circus atmosphere, but to train him, out, in the projects, I guess, of L.A. And, he gets the eye of the tiger back, in other words, the killer instinct, and he gets back on top. So I'm really hoping that, because I really feel that what happened after that 5-0 start, I think the kids got a little complacent, a little overconfident. And I hope that the way the season ended with those 4 losses in the last 5 games really brought them down to earth and made them realize they got to keep the eye of the tiger for all 48 minutes, every game, all season long. And if they do that, they're going to have a good chance to go a long way this season. So now it's start off the second half. Short kick. Plainfield takes it at the 26, up to the 30. He's got a hole. 35, 40, 45, 50, 45, 40. Spins around up to the 36. So Plainfield starting off the second half in excellent field position here. All right. That was Ellis. Ellis, the sophomore, he opened the scoring for us in the second quarter tonight. The sophomore showing a lot of promise. Not a big guy at 5'8", 155, but he's got a lot of speed, a lot of enthusiasm. How exciting we got that young man for 2 more years. So now, 2 receivers to the right. First play of scrimmage of the second half. Plainfield tried to build on its 3-point lead. Takes the snap. Takes the handoff to Starnes. Takes it himself, and he only gets about 1. So they give him credit for no gain. Bryce Sabank, the sophomore, making the start at quarterback tonight. Second and 10 at the Terre Haute South 35. Got to get a touchdown here. Take that 2-possession lead. Neither team's had a 2-possession lead in this game. 2 receivers to the right now. 1 running back. The snap, handoff, and now Starnes met at the line, but he moves right and he gets up for about 3. Gets a little pushing from his line there. So that'll bring up 3rd and long, obviously in 4-down territory here. So not as good a spot as I hoped. Starnes with 2 yards there. He has 12 for 111 by my count. 3rd and 8 now at the 33. 10:37 to go here in the quarter. Come on, it'd be terrible to get that great starting field position and get no points out of it and give them the ball with a chance to get the lead. So now Sabank, his completion. He's got around the right side, and he's inside the 25, inside the 20, up to about the 15. That was Ellis then, a game of about 15 yards. So we keep the drive alive, get into the red zone. So the players, the Quakers now in the red zone. I have Sabank 6 for 9 through the air. Ellis with his second reception. 1st and 10 at the 15, 10-10 to go in the third quarter. Plainfield trying to take a multiple possession lead, which neither team has had in this game. Now, handoff there to Wayrich, and he's inside the 10. He's close to the goal line. That was Wayrich. I think he's going to be a yard or two short. Nevertheless, great rush there by the senior up the middle. Hopefully we'll give it to him here to get the touchdown. The most important thing is that we score, but he deserves the touchdown after that 14-yard rush there, putting us first and goal at the 1, 9:50 to go. So 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, 2 running backs now. Hand off there, and he's into the end zone for the touchdown. So, yeah, Wayrich got the touchdown. He had 2 last year as a junior, now 1 in his first game as a senior. And Plainfield now in the driver's seat, 23-14. Multiple possession lead, all the pressure on the Braves. So, hey, I'm trying to make it perfect on extra points. He was 5 for 5 last year, 2 for 2 tonight. Conspicuously absent this game for Plainfield is the 2-point conversion. They went for a whopping 20 last year and 30 touchdowns, making 13 of them. Hayab on the extra point. It is up, and it is good. So 3 for 3 on field goals. 1 for 2 on field goals. The only miss coming from 49. He made 1 for 28. All 4 kickoffs into the end zone for a touchback. Great starts to Leo Hayab's senior season, and starting to be a great start for the Quakers 2024 season. 9:42 to go. Weston Wayrich on the 1-yard rush there. Hopefully, he'll do enough this year. Starts back up to get a college scholarship. He deserves it. He's really paid his dues for us. So I like what I'm starting to see. A 24-7 run now by the Quakers. And gosh darn it, if it hadn't been for that miscue on the punt, it would likely be a 24-0 run now. That kept them in it, but we are pulling away. Now what we've got to do, mainly make the Braves sustain drives, make Wilson get rid of the ball before he wants to, take away the big play. We do that, we'll be fine. We'll get out of here with a win. And finally, this one doesn't it only gets to the 6 or 7 after the first 4 were touchbacks. And he brings it up to about the 23 or so. Yeah, I was so glad that Wayrich that we let Wayrich, after he moved the ball 14 yards up to the 1, that we let him punch it in for the score. He deserved it. So 9:42 to go now. And by the way, one thing that I'm really encouraged about tonight is that one thing I'm really encouraged about is how many different guys have contributed for this young offense that entered the season with so many question marks. So now three receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Takes the snap. So Corbin there stopped right around the line of scrimmage. Might have picked up 1. I'm surprised they opened that play, that position, by the way, I'm surprised they opened it up with a rush. I figured that Wilson would go to the air. Maybe he's trying to settle down and, maybe get them to focus on the rushing offense a little more in the hope that he'll have some, more passing options open. So 2 receivers to each side now. takes the snap. Wilson looks back, throws over, and nearly intercepted. Did Suggs make the catch? He made the catch in intense coverage, picks up about 7, bringing up 3rd and short. Dangerous pass there by Wilson, but it did work. I'm sorry you didn't get it. They were a little further downfield than I thought. So Lewis really, showing a lot of promise tonight. That sophomore, he's got a bright future here for the Braves. And now Wilson throws deep, but there was and now there's going to be a pass interference, I think, against the Quakers. So that'll be a first down for the Braves. Very lucky break for them. So let's see where they mark it. Of course, it's not a spot foul like it is in the NFL. It's just 15 yards. Just a couple officials still deliberating. I have Lewis, by the way, 6 receptions, 117 yards, nearly 20 a reception, including the 48-yard touchdown. As it is now, the Braves have it first and 10 at their own 38. 8:19 to go in the third quarter. Plainfield 24, Terre, Haute South 14. The Quakers just got a touchdown on a 1-yard rush by senior running back Weston Wayrich, taking the first multiple possession lead of the game for either team. 3 receivers to the left, now 1 to the right. Wilson, the snap, fakes the handoff. No, he gives it now to Corbin, but he's met right at the line of scrimmage, and he's brought down for maybe 1. They might give him 1 for forward progress. So the two rushes by Corbin in this half come for, we were right on top of him, and both ended up with 0 yards. Well, for those of you who listen to, hold that thought till after this play. Hopefully I won't forget. I often forget when I say hold that thought. So 3 receivers to the left, now 1 to the right for Terre Haute South. Wilson, the running back, Corbin, the running back, Wilson in shotgun. Takes the snap, drops back, got time, throws deep downfield. He's got him in, wide open. He passes at the 35 up to the 30. Weaves his way inside the 30. Got some room over on the left side of the field. 15, 1 man to beat. And now 10, 5. Does he get in? Did he get in? I'm waiting for the signal. I couldn't tell if he broke the plane or not. Yes, he did. 62 yards. And the Braves are back in this game. 7:15 to go. So you got to give him credit. And that, by the way, that puts Wilson over 200 yards on the game. That was A.J. Suggs, by the way, who got hurt he got hurt diving into the end zone, unfortunately. So now Wilson on the game, by my count, 14. He's completed 14 of 24 passes, 211 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And let's see. And my son's now showing me. Hold on. Extra point attempt here by Mallory here that would make it a 3-point game. Who's that? Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard got a 100-yard touchdown for the Dallas Cowboys. My son just showed me on his phone. I think extra point's blocked. And, are you allowed to? He could have returned it for a 2-point conversion in college. He was wide open, but nevertheless, nice momentum killing play there by the Quakers. So now Terre Haute South, if they got the ball back without us scoring again, they could not tie with a field goal. So that's good play. That might turn out to be significant. You go back to the AFC Championship game of the 2006 season. At one point, we went for a 2-point conversion and made it. And had we not, and everything else been constant, New England would have had a chance to tie with a field goal on that last drive. But because they had to go for a touchdown, they had to do much more high-risk stuff. And, of course, Tom Brady was intercepted by Marlon Jackson, and we finally made it to the Super Bowl, year 9 of the Peyton Manning era. So, I'll tell you, we've had a couple of opportunities to put this game away, but both times Terre Haute South came through with a big play. We gotta stop letting them hang in there. We still might hang on to win this one, but there are a lot of games where we won't. So now Mallory trying to shake off that blocked extra point. Another short kick, picked up around the 28, brought up to the 35, 40, 45, 50, 45, and he's up to about the 40. And I think that's one of these things that Terre Haute, I'm not that I'm complaining. I mean, I think it's great, but these short kickoffs, could cost the Braves quite a few games this year by giving their opponents good field position. If we get a touchdown, it's back to a multiple possession lead. As we start this drive at the 41. So now here we go. 2 receivers now to the left. 7:07 to go here in the third quarter. Plainfield with the ball and a 4-point lead. This takes the snap. Hands off to Wayrich. He got about 3 or 4. So I'll bring up 2nd and 6 there. Weston Wayrich, 5'11", 190, senior. So I have him 6 for 27 and a touchdown in this game. He set up his own touchdown. He rushed 14 yards to the 1, then punched in on the next play. 2nd and 6 now at the 37. Come on, boys. And now hand off to Wayrich again. He's got a hole, and he gets up about 3 or 4 more. Nearly halfway through this quarter. Give him credit for 2 more. So he's 7 for 29 by my count, a little over 4 a carry. Doing a solid job tonight, and we're under 6 minutes now, so we're more than 5/8 through this game. 9:02 your time of day. Very big 3rd and 4. We got to keep this drive going. 2 receivers to the right now. Low snap, but he gets a screen pass. It's complete, but they're right on top of him, and he's brought down around the line of scrimmage. Ellis got the reception. I would think we'd go for it here. I think he's going to be, and it's a mark down for a 2-yard loss, actually. So great stop there by the Braves. So 4th and 6. We are going for it. Can't let them, if they get the ball here without us scoring, then they'll have a chance to take the lead with the touchdown. We can't let them do that. And now the play clock down to 2, and we take a timeout here with 4:58 to go in the quarter. So let me catch my breath here with 4:58 to go here in the third quarter in the season opening game. Your score, Plainfield's 24, Terre Haute South 20. Your Quakers with the ball. 4th and 6 at the Terre Haute South 37. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors. This broadcast of Plainfield Quakers football is brought to you through the generous donations of our sponsors. We would like to recognize them, and we hope you will support them. They are Remax Centerstone, Julia Berberich, Ganell Financial, Crone Family Construction, My IT Indy, Ryan Grimes, I-70 Record Service and Garage, BGW Construction LLC, Legacy Motorsports, Crest Point Real Estate, Chris Pearson, Selwith Jones, the Stewart Home Group, Ellison Associates. Thank you, sponsors. Your support for the student athletes of Plainfield High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Plainfield, we're in the season opening game with your Plainfield Quakers leading the Terre Haute South Braves 24-20. Plainfield has the ball 4th and 6 at the Terre Haute South 37 with 4:58 to go in the third quarter. The Quakers are going for it. Two receivers to the left, one to the right. Bryce Sabonk, the sophomore, starting at quarterback. Takes a snap. He's got time. And he's sacked. He's sacked with authority. So Terre Haute South will take over with a chance. Terre Haute South now takes over after an 8-yard loss on that sack. So disappointing drive for the Quakers that they started on their own 41, but failed to move the chains. So now Terre Haute South takes over. 1st and 10 at their own 45, trailing by 4. A touchdown would put them in the lead. Got to get a stop here, boys. And now it's incomplete, too low. Threw it over to Lewis. Lewis, probably the MVP of this game for the Braves. The very promising sophomore, having a breakthrough game. 6 receptions, 117 yards, including a 48-yard touchdown. And a Quaker is down, though he's getting up quickly, limping off the field on his own power. That's Brady Sabonk. Got a big interception there in the second quarter. Walks off on his own power, but limping. So 2nd and 10 of 45. And now let's see. So now back to action here. So Terre Haute South lines up, 1 receiver to the left, 2 to the right. Wilson in shotgun. He's got 1 running back with him. 2nd and 10 at their own 45, trailing by 4. Takes a snap, drops back. He's pressured, and he gets rid of it. And but he's brought down with a gain of maybe just 1 or 2. So Corbin there on that very short reception, gain of maybe 1 or 2. They gave him credit just for 1. So 3rd and 9 now. So this will be a big break for the Quakers if we can get the ball back without giving up a first down. 4:04 to go now. This game nearly 2/3 of the way done. 3 receivers to the right now. Running back Wilson in shotgun. He's pressured and gets rid of it. He made the catch, but was he in bounds? I couldn't tell from my vantage point. Yes, they said yes. So Chris Heron, the coach's son, only a 2nd reception of the night, comes at a good time. Bringing up 1st and 10. They move from 145 to the other. And now hands off to Corbin. They're right on top of him, and he pulls his way up for 2 or 3. So let's see where they mark Corbin now. They give him credit for 2. So 7 for 31 and a touchdown tonight for Ty Isaac Corbin. 2nd and 8 now. Big play for the Quakers defense here. 2nd and 8 for Terre Haute South at the Plainfield 43. 3:09 to go in the third quarter. And now they blitz him. He gets rid of it, throws deep, and it is incomplete. Threw it into good coverage. 16 for 27 through the air for Wilson. By my count, 223 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Very big third down here for the Quakers. So very big defensive play for the Quakers here. They're trying to get the ball back and, still have the lead. So 2 receivers to each side now. And now they blitz him. He's under a lot of pressure, gets rid of it, and it is out of bounds. So bringing up 4th and 8. So will they go for it or will they punt? So excellent. I like the way that we've been putting pressure on Wilson. Now we've got another injury now for the Quakers. Hopefully it's not serious. He was sitting up at first. Now he's lying down. It appears to be some kind of lower, possibly, lower leg or ankle injury. The clock stops, 2:56 to go when we resume play. Terre Haute South will have the ball, 4th and 8 at the Plainfield 43. Plainfield leading 24-20 with 2:56 to go in the third quarter. And by the way, the injured Quaker there is Tyler Semek. He is a junior walking off the field now with assistance. So it looks like Terre Haute South, barring a fake, will be punting here. So the Quakers will get the ball back with the lead. Now we just got to keep the clock on the chains moving and score. And Starnes feels it, and he's hit immediately. So Plainfield will take over about the 15. So now Plainfield takes over on offense with a 4-point lead, 2:50 to go in the third quarter, trying to get a win here in open season 2 under Tyler Bless. Starnes takes it, and he tries to find some room on the left side, doesn't find much, maybe gets 2. Starnes has had a great game overall, though, including runs of 33 and 46 yards and a touchdown. So now 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. This has been a more rushing dominated team than we've seen in recent years, but they're doing very well. They're starting to catch their stride. So Starnes, another rush. He gets a few, but it's going to be well short of the first down. Under 2 minutes to go now. Give him credit for 3 on that one. So 3rd and 6 now at the 24, 3rd and 6 at the 19 for the Quakers. They really need to get a first down here. They don't want Terre Haute South to get the ball back with a chance to take the lead, which they would with a touchdown. Plainfield by 4 now as it is. Now pass up the middle. It's complete, but it's short of the first down. About 3 yards short. Hendry, the reception from Sabank. By my count, that's Sabank's 12th pass of the game. He's completed 9 of them, but most for very short gains. That one for 4 to Hendry. His second of the evening. His first went for 6. And now we have a Terre Haute South injury, so that's at least 4 injuries in this game. Hopefully it is not serious. And this also appears to be a lower leg injury. I cannot see the number from my vantage point here. It's a Terre Haute South player. .5 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Plainfield trying to hang on, still too close for comfort. They scored to start off the third quarter. Took the first and only two possession lead of the game. Terre Haute South came right back with a touchdown on their ensuing drive to cut it to 4. And thanks to Liam, my son here with me in the press box, pointed out it was Treva Branch, the injured player. He's now walking off the field here. Appears to be a little groggy, but other than that, okay. Hopefully it's not serious. So now Plainfield looks like they're going to pretty well almost run the rest of the third quarter off, 42 seconds and counting. There's about a 17-second differential between the two clocks. So it's a punt. Takes a nice Plainfield bounce. Fielded just past the 40, and he stopped immediately. So Terre Haute South with 17.9 seconds to go in the third quarter and a 4-point deficit takes over on offense. So it looks like this one could be going down to the wire as opposed to last year where we won comfortably in the second half after being down 13-0. So Terre Haute South had a couple of big losses, one to a move, one to graduation, but they still return a lot of pieces from the teams that won 6 and 5 games in the last 2 years, which is a great run by their program's standards. And now a screen pass to Suggs. He gets up for about 3 and what will likely be the last play of the half, except that the officials just blew the whistle here. Not sure why. Oh, a helmet came off. Okay. So that stopped the clock, and now the clock has resumed, and now they're going to let the rest of the clock run out. So, with 12 minutes to go here in the season opener, your Plainfield Quakers too close for comfort. They're trying to hang on, but it's close. They lead the Terre Haute South Braves only 24-20 here on AudioSportsOnline.com. We'll be back with the thrilling conclusion after these words from our sponsors. This broadcast of Plainfield Quakers football is brought to you through the generous donations of our sponsors. We would like to recognize them, and we hope you will support them. They are Remax Cinderstone, Julia Burberich, Canal Financial, Crone Family Construction, My IT Indy, Ryan Grimes, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, BGW Construction LLC, Legacy Motorsports, Crest Point Real Estate, Chris Pearson, Selwith Jones, the Stewart Home Group, Ellis and Associates. Thank you, sponsors. Your support for the student athletes of Plainfield High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Plainfield, we're about to start the fourth quarter of this barn burner of a season opening game with your Plainfield Quakers trying to hang on for the win. They lead the Terre Haute South Braves by a score of 24-20. It's been close almost all of the way. Plainfield got off to a very lethargic start before turning it on in the second quarter. They've mostly played well since then. However, they've had a couple of lapses, and Terre Haute South has made a couple of big plays that have kept it close. So now the Braves have the ball 2nd and 8 at their own 40. 12 minutes to go. Let's go, boys. Let's get a stop here. 2 receivers to each side now. Brady Wilson, the quarterback, in shotgun for Terre Haute South. He's pressured. He throws deep down the right side. He's got a man open, and he could get the one man to beat. And he's got it. Touchdown, and the Braves get the lead. That was Mason Lewis again. His first touchdown, he opened the scoring with a 48-yarder. Now he gets a 60-yarder. So now the pressure goes back on us. Well, we've just let them hang in there too long, and now they got a 26-24 lead, trying to make it a 3-point lead here, which they would with the extra point. Mason Lewis, though, unquestionably in my book, gets the game ball for Terre Haute South. Sophomore, 7 receptions, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns, and got him back for 2 more years. He obviously is the right now looking like the heir to A.J. Watkins, the superstar, one of the best wide receivers in the state last year, who stayed home to play his college ball in Terre Haute at Indiana State. And the extra point is up, and it is good. So now Plainfield will get the ball, 11:51 to go, and a 3-point deficit. Let's go, boys. Rise to the occasion here. I don't mind early season losses, as long as we don't give the game away, as long as we're making a great effort, and as long as we use the win to make us better. But there are 2 or 3 plays in this game that really, if you took away, we would have a firm grip on this one right now, instead of as it is, we still could get the win, but we're going to have to fight for it. And I was hoping that, we would already have put the game away by this point. Well, are they going to be the Cardiac Quakers again? Maybe. And if they are, that does produce some exciting football. That one point, but spanning the 2022 and 2023 seasons, they won 3 consecutive home games by a total of 5 points. The 3-point thriller in the sectional championship game against Decatur Central. Then the first 2 home games last year against Harrison and Perry Meridian. So let's see how this one turns out. It's a squib, and no! It was a line drive, and it hit one of our guys, and they recovered. Terre Haute South did. Oh no! They got it right around the 50. So now we really got to clamp down on their defense. We got to get a stop here. Oh no! We cannot let them score here, and preferably we got to get the ball back as soon as possible. We still have 2 timeouts left, but we've got to, man. I don't know if that was intentional or not, if Terre Haute South intended to do that, but that and then the miscue on the punt earlier, you take away those 2 plays, I think, we're in very good shape right now. We're still only down by 3, but we got to get a stop here. So 2 receivers to each side now. Wilson with 1 running back, and now he gives it to Corbin, and he's got it for about 6 or 7. Corbin, a quietly effective game, including a touchdown. They give him credit for, I think, 7 there. Second and 3 at the 43 now. 11:26 to go and counting. Terre Haute South with the ball and a 3-point lead. Come on, boys. Let's get a stop. Let's get a stop here. Two receivers each side now. And now gives it to Corbin again. And he drives forward. If he doesn't have the first down, he's within about half a yard. I think they're marking him about half a yard short. Third and 1 now for the Braves, obviously in 4-down territory. 10:46 to go and counting. Wilson has shaken off those two first half interceptions with 2 touchdown passes here in the second half. I give him credit for that. So 3rd and 1 now, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Now we trip him up, but he dives forward, and I think he's got the first. So Corbin, they give him credit for the. So now it's Corbin has carried the last 3 plays. He hasn't been spectacular, but he's getting the job done. 10:21 to go now and counting. I have Corbin 10 for 41 and a touchdown. Ball now at the Plainfield 40. Now Wilson drops back. They pressure him. He throws down the right side toward the end zone, and it's incomplete. But there's a flag, possibly pass interference. It was close. It was on the far side of the field. I didn't get a real good look about, if there was any contact that would have merited a penalty for that. But let's see. 2 officials are deliberating now. No, holding against Terre Haute South. All right. Okay, but and then there was also the penalty against Plainfield, so offsetting penalties. So I guess they'll repeat the down. So 1st and 10, Terre Haute South with a 3-point lead at the Plainfield 40, 9:57 to go. 9:26 your time of day. It's a long one. So now 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Corbin, the running back. Corbin gets it again. This time they're ready for him. He gets 2 or 3. But Terre Haute South, I think, would be content to run off 3 or 4 minutes. Keep the clock and the chains moving. They give him credit for 2 on that one. Got to get a stop. Got to get the ball back. $9:30 to go now. Terre Haute South now. Now seemingly playing the game that they want to play rather than the game we want to play. 9:17 to go. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Now Wilson gets it. He's pressured, and he's hit, and he's knocked out of bounds for, I think, a slight loss. And good, I'm glad we got him out of bounds. Well, the clock, I don't know why the clock's still, I thought he was pushed out of bounds. I thought they pushed him out of bounds, but the clock continues to run. 1 yard lost, by the way. So critical 3rd down here for the Quakers defense. We got to get them off the field here. Third and 8 now for Terre Haute South at 38. Come on, pressure on, boys. And now they put pressure on Wilson. He gets rid of it, but and it's caught by Heron for about a 14-yard pickup and a 1st down. 8:26 to go. And Wilson over 300 yards now by my count. Come on. They got it at the 26 now. The main thing is we can't let them get a touchdown because that would be a 2-possession lead. Heron, the leading returner, or the leading receiver from last season, now 3 for 38 tonight by my count. $8:05 to go now. Handoff there. Handoff, and he gets up for about 3. Haven't seen an official signal from anybody, and now we see the second down indication. So Corbin, rushing, having a very quietly effective rushing game. Now they give him credit for 6 on that one. I have him 12 for 50 and a touchdown. 7:30 to go now. Things starting to slip away for Plainfield. They got to get a turnaround here. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. 1 running back, Wilson in shotgun. Drops back, throws, and it's intercepted. It's intercepted. And oh my God, he's still on his feet. There's a flag. Hopefully after the interception, unless it's on them. Oh my God. So yeah, Wilson, just looked. I guess he tried to get rid of it and just slipped out. And might count as a fumble. I'm not sure how they're going to score that, but okay. The PA guy just said it's an interception. That's by Drew White. So thank you, Drew. So now Plainfield 7:07 to go, trailing by 3. Let's go, boys. So Wilson, 3 touchdowns tonight, but also 3 interceptions. And whoever loses this game is going to point to 2 or 3 plays on which the game turned. So now 2 receivers to the left, 2 running backs. Sabank now fakes the handoff. And now he's got to get rid of it. He's brought down for a sack. So that's a big setback as the clock ticks under 7 minutes. And that's going to be a big loss too. 7 loss. Oh, no. He's going to have a lot of great moments for us, but, he'll learn from that one. He'll shake it off. So now 1 receiver to each side, 2 running backs, Sabank in shotgun. And now he hands off to Wyrich. He's got some room on the right side, and he gets up to about the 47. That's a gain of about 12. So Weston Wyrich, very quietly effective game. I have a mate for 42 and a touchdown. And now we hit the 6-minute mark. So the game now, we got half a quarter to go. We're 7/8 of the way through this opener. Plainfield is a very big 3rd and 4 at their own 48. Got to move the chains here, boys. So now handoff. And he's Wyrich. He's got the first down and about 1 more. All right. Good job, Weston. Good job. He looks like he's going to have a very good year as Luke Starnes' backup. Starnes himself, 14 for 115 and a touchdown tonight. And now we got a timeout. 5:42 to go. And now we got another injury here. This one to Terre Haute South. We've had 5 injuries tonight, 3 for Terre Haute South, 2 for Plainfield. None appeared to be super serious. And each ended with the player getting up and walking off the field, sometimes on his own, sometimes with assistance. So here's the status when we return to play. Your score: Terre Haute South 27, Plainfield 24. 5:42 to go in the game. Plainfield now has the ball 1st and 10 at the Terre Haute South 47. 2 timeouts. The teams have never been separated by more than 10 points. However, Terre Haute South currently on a 13-0 run. The injured player for Terre Haute South, Chris Heron, the coach's son, wide receiver, the leading returning wide receiver. Now he trots off the field, looking a little groggy, but on his own power. We wish him a full and speedy recovery. Chris Heron should be playing college ball a year from now, as should Brady Wilson, the quarterback. So now Ryan Garver lines up to the right for the Quakers. I believe it's Ethan Ellis. Ethan Ellis to the right, Ryan Garver to the left, 2 running backs. Sabank in shotgun, 5:35 to go. Handoff now to Starnes. He's got some room up to the 40, 35. breaks the tackle, dives up to the 30. All right, so Luke Starnes with about 17 yards there. He also has rushes of 46 and 33 tonight, including a touchdown. First and 10 at the 30 now. Come on, let's get this touchdown. No mistakes here, boys. So one receiver at each side, two running backs. Takes the snap to Wayrich, and he gets up for about 3. Bring up about 2nd and 7. 5 minutes to go now. Plainfield trailing by 3. They have the ball 2nd and 7 at the Terre Haute South 27. Thriller of a season opener here. Hopefully it'll have a happy ending for us. I have Wayrich 10 for 50 now. So now 2 receivers out to the left. Bryce Sabank, a solid performance for the sophomore at quarterback here in his debut today. And now hands off to Starnes, and he gets up for about 5. It's going to be close to the first down. We got to get a first down here. We don't want to, don't want it to get to 4th down. 4:12 to go now. I think the thing is we're hoping to score with as little time left as possible. So 2 receivers to the left now, 2 running backs. Sabank takes it, hands off to Wayrich. He's inside the 20, inside the 15. Got a first down and more. Gain of 9 there by Wayrich. I have him 11 for 59 and a touchdown now. Under 4 minutes to go. 13 yards away from what would be the game-winning touchdown. 9:37 your time of day. 1 receiver at each side, 2 running backs. Hands off to Starnes. He's met the line of scrimmage, but he weaves his way around and he gets maybe 2. Let's see where they mark it. So it looks like they're going to give him no gain there. I thought he would get at least a yard or 2. Okay, they did give him 1. 2nd and 9 at the 12 now. Plainfield down by 3. 3:02 to go. Come on, boys. Let's do this. 2 receivers and now hand off to Starnes, and he's inside. I think they got him to about the 10. So it's going to be 3rd and 6 or 7 or so. And the whistle just blew. And it could be Terre Haute South. I think what Terre Haute South is thinking is that if Plainfield does get this touchdown, Terre Haute South wants to make sure that they have a good amount of time to do something. So they give Starnes credit for 2 there. All right, so let's see, where are we here? So with 2:41 to go in the 4th quarter, your score, Terre Haute South 27, Plainfield 24. Plainfield has the ball 3rd and 7 at the Terre Haute South 11. It's been a barn burner of a game, a lot of wild momentum swings. Plainfield started very lethargically on both sides of the ball, really came into their own in the 2nd quarter, made a couple of mistakes since then that have allowed Terre Haute South to stay in it. But overall, all things considered, it's a promising season debut after everything they lost to graduation and then the transfer of Jameer Bowie, starting a sophomore at quarterback. So now a big 3rd and 7 at the 11 for the Quakers, 2:41 to go. Okay, they're changing the clock to 2:43, so 2 more seconds. Come on, boys. 3rd and 7, 2 receivers out to the right. Two running backs. Sabank in shotgun. And now, and Weston Wayrich, did he get the first? It's going to be within a yard or so. Now, Terre Haute South has taken the time. Terre Haute South has taken its second timeout with 2:31 to go. But let's see. Okay, they're marking him down. 4th and 1. 4th and 1. Okay. So 4th and 1 at the 5 for the Quakers. 2:31 to go. They trail Terre Haute. They trail Terre Haute South 27-24. Let's do it, boys. Now they can go for a field goal that would tie it, and obviously they're in Hayob's range. You know, he's 8 for 8 counting today, and last season 8 for 8 on extra points. He had a 28-yard field goal tonight. This would be a 23-yarder. So are they going to go for the field goal to tie, or are they going to go for the touchdown to take the lead? I'd feel pretty confident about their ability to gain 1 yard on this play. So I think they're going to go for it. If they don't make it, by the way, they still have 2 timeouts left, so they wouldn't quite be out of it, but let's see. And now we've got another timeout. So now Plainfield takes its second timeout. You know, I remember at one time, I don't know if that's still the case, but at one time, it was actually illegal in the NFL to do back-to-back timeouts. I don't know if it still is or not. Let's see here. So now when we resume play again, Plainfield has the ball 4th and 1 at the Terre Haute South 5, 2:31 to go. Terre Haute South 27, Plainfield 24. It's been up and down the whole way. Terre Haute South started off like they were going to run away with it after an outstanding first possession on which Plainfield had no answers. Plainfield had no answers on offense on their first 2 possessions, but Luke Starnes got it in motion, and he and Weston Wayrich have done very well. Bryce Sabank, for a sophomore, starting the first game of the season, has done pretty well, all things considered especially. So 2:31 to go here. So 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Starnes, the running back. Sabank in shotgun. Referee blows the whistle. The snap. Gives it. Did he get the Starnes? Did he get it? That's going to be within, I think, half a yard either way. Officials timeout, so that's probably for a measurement. Well, if he didn't get it, there's still 2:26 to go, and Terre Haute South will be taking over deep in their territory, and we have 1 timeout left. Come on, man. Let's see. We got it. We got the first down. We got the first down. All right. All right. Who ran the last play? So Luke Starnes gets the yard that he needs. So now 1st and goal at the 4. We got 4 chances to get it in. Each team with 1 timeout. So 1 receiver at each side now. It's Ellis to the right. I believe it's Garber to the left. And I believe it's Starnes and Wayrich there at the running backs. Bryce Sabank, he wears number 1. He is the sophomore starting quarterback in this game. 2:26 to go. Plainfield first goal at the 4, trailing by 3. Let's go, boys. Hands off to Starnes. Touchdown! 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 Plainfield leads. 2:22 to go. Luke Starnes' second touchdown of the game. All right. All right. 30-27 with the conversion pending. After he went through those 2 timeouts, the rush by Starnes and the intense measurements, finally we got the lead. All right. So Luke Starnes looked like he's primed to have a banner junior season, hopefully even a more banner senior season. All right. Way to go, Luke. We love you. So 20 for 145 and 2 touchdowns by Luke Starnes. And the extra point is up, and it is good, and that's important because now it's a 4-point lead, and that means that if that means that now Terre Haute South cannot settle for a field goal. They got to go for the touchdown. 2:22 to go in 1 timeout. Now all the defense has to do is just take away the big play. So come on, boys, let's do it. Let's do it. Too close for comfort as usual, but we love our Quakers. We love these kids. And, I always say 7 to 10, we have 165 hours a week that we can argue about politics, which is far more than enough. So 7 to 10 on Friday nights, we're not Democrats, we're not Republicans. We're simply Quakers. That's our time to come together and support these kids. And man, do they ever deserve our support. I thought this was about a 50-50 chance to win this game coming in. We haven't won it yet, but it's ours to lose now. Kick taken down at the 10, brought to 15, 20, 25, and then we got a flag here. So 2:18 to go. Let's see what the flag's all about. And I'm going to take a chug of my soda here because my throat's getting very dried out. Okay, holding against Terre Haute South. That's good for us. That'll back it up 10 yards. When I don't know, about half the time when I do these broadcasts, I have a broadcast partner. About half the time I'm alone. And when I don't, I really have to pace myself as far as, drinking and things like that. I've been drinking non-alcoholic beverages. I'm drinking a Diet Coke right now. But anyway. So Terre Haute South starting off, they have 85 yards to go to make up 4 points. 2:18 to go with 1 timeout. 2 receivers to each side. Wilson looks back, throws, and it's incomplete. Incomplete. It would have been for about 10 yards if it had been complete. Wilson, a sharply mixed game. I have him 18 of 32, 315 yards, 3 touchdowns, but also 3 very costly interceptions, especially the last one because it led to the Quakers' touchdown. Still, a very promising start to a senior season. Should be playing college ball a year from now. So now drops back, and he's caught, and gets out of bounds immediately. For Lewis with his 8th reception of the game, picks up 10 yards, wisely gets out of bounds. He does get the first. Lewis, wow, he came into this game unheralded. Now I have him 8 receptions, 187 yards, 2 touchdowns. Those touchdowns being 60 and 48 yards. So now first and 10, first and 10 at the 25 for the Braves. And he's the ball came loose, but was it I think it's going to count as a pass. It looked to me like, it would be an incomplete pass. And now another injury. Goodness gracious. I think except for the Perry Meridian game 2 years ago, this is the most injuries I've ever seen in a game. I don't think any of them are serious, but even so. So Dontre Pettis now the injured player for Terre Haute South. I believe he's the fourth Brave to be injured in this game, along with a couple of Quakers. Well, I waited 301 days to commentate this game, and I'll tell you this is the longest of my 12 off seasons. This is the longest one, because of the way the season ended. There's some seasons that ended that, like for example, you go back to that Cathedral loss. We lost that game 54-7 in the 2021 playoffs that came down at the University of Indianapolis. It sucks to lose 54-7, but they were the number one team in the state. And that was, a team where we didn't really have a very good offensive line. Juan Nieto III had gotten 1,000 yards for us as a junior in 2020. He was down, I think, around 650 or so as a senior the next year. He just didn't have the offensive line. I felt bad for him because I thought, he had solid potential to get a college scholarship. But, that game, we were up against a nuclear missile and, we ended up with the expected results. But last year when we were 5-0, I had visions of the state championship. And what I've learned from that is, appropriately from, the Rocky series, I think it's what he said to Adonis Creed in the first Creed movie. It's like one step, one punch, one round at a time. That's not the exact quote, but it's something like that, something to that effect. You just got to take it one game at a time. And yeah, I'm guilty of it. And maybe, these kids listen to my broadcast and I gave them a big head because I was talking about a state championship around game 4, game 5. But, one thing I will say about Class 5A is that Class 5A, there's so much parity that, probably there's, 6-8 teams that really have a realistic shot at winning the championship as opposed to Class 6A, which basically is a 4-team class: Center Grove, Ben Davis, Warren, Central, Carmel. So now back to action here. 2 receivers to each side. Wilson, screen pass, and Lewis gets it, but he's tripped up inbounds. All right. So they only get it 3 or 4 yards, and the clock keeps ticking, and only one timeout left. Are they going to use that timeout? 1:50 to go now. It's going to be 3rd and long. That was Lewis's 9th reception of the game. And boy, Terre Haute South fans, win or lose today, they've got to be super excited about that young man. I'll tell you the best sophomore wide receiver that I have ever seen in my 13 years of commentary is a guy by the name of Isaiah Callaway. Played for Whiteland. Ohio State was recruiting. He was that good. You think about it. He was playing for Derek Fisher's team that hardly ever passes. But, he was still, looking like, an all-state wide receiver there. He was 6'3", 180, great wide receiver size, really fast, great hands. And unfortunately, he was dismissed from the team 7 games into his senior season, and I don't think he ever played collegiately. Okay, I'm not sure what happened, but there was a delay of game penalty against the Quakers that brings it up 3rd and 6 to 3rd and 1. So they didn't have to use their timeout. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe I'll find out on the Coach Bless show on Sunday. So 3rd and 1 now at the 34. Come on, we just got to take away the big play. 2 receivers to each side. Corbin, the running back, and we got a whistle here. Play whistle dead, 1:50 to go. 9:54 to go now. Speaking of the Tyler Bless show, so now drop back and screen pass, and he gets to about the 45. I think that was Lewis again. I'm not sure if he got out of bounds or not, but he did get the first down. I believe that was Mason Lewis again. So 1st and 10 now for Terre Haute South at their own 45. So Wilson, and he got to Lewis again, and he gets another 12. So they're in Plainfield territory. So Terre Haute South, to their credit, they're using this drive very well. So now it's starting to get very concerning. 1:28 to go. 1st and 10. Terre Haute South at the 43, trailing by 4. So they have to go for the touchdown. So now Wilson, and we blitz him. He throws deep into the and it's incomplete. We got probably 2 flags, probably pass interference. I couldn't tell from my vantage point if that was merited or not. If it is pass interference, if it is, it'll be 15 yards. Of course, remember, Terre Haute South has to go for the touchdown. They can't go for the field goal because they're down by 4. So now, now 15 yards. So Terre Haute South has the ball, trailing by 4 with 1:31 to go in the 4th quarter. 1st and 10 at the Plainfield 28. We got to get a stop here, boys. Got to get a stop here. I know Wilson would like to redeem himself for, certainly, winning this game would, help get him off the hook somewhat for the 3 interceptions. So now Wilson throws deep. Incomplete. He didn't get the grip on it. He might have had the touchdown or been out of bounds at the 1. 2nd and 10 at the 36. 2nd and 10 at the 28. 1:26 to go. Terre Haute South has it in Plainfield territory. Second and 10 at the 28 for the Braves. Come on. Got to get a stop here. I'm sorry. I'm getting mentally exhausted here. Been on the air over 3 hours now. 3 hours, three players to the left. And now we go for and it's incomplete. He was under pressure. So now 3rd and 10. So now things starting to look a little better, but we still we got to make sure they don't get starting to get, a little bit mentally scattered here. And now we got an official timeout for another Terre Haute South injury. Man, feel bad for these kids with these injuries, but oh my God. 9:58 your time of day. On this Sunday's edition, last Sunday's edition of the Tyler Bless Show, my frequent broadcast partner, Rob Kindle, after Coach Bless, basically seemed to be saying that there would be a lot less passing than we were accustomed to for the Quakers. Rob was saying that, maybe, the broadcast would get over early, but now it's 9:59. And, I remember my first year back in 2012, I commentated one of my only 2 non-running clock games that went under 2 hours. It was Plainfield at Franklin, went I believe an hour and 58 minutes. Then at Whiteland, when Plainfield played at Whiteland in 2019, that went, I believe, 154. But, that Whiteland just runs almost every play under Darren Fisher. But Plainfield, back in the early days, they were a heavily running team under Brian Woodard, and that started to change in 2013 with Brady Nichols as the quarterback. And I remember commentating the first game that season, that big 34-32 win down at Columbus North. When we were a 4A team, they were a 6A team. And really, that really marked the beginning of Coach Woodard starting to do some very heavily passing-oriented teams, though he had some good running backs for the rest of his tenure here, too. So now 3rd and 10 for the Braves at the Plainfield 28, trailing by 4, 1:21 to go. Come on, boys, let's get a stop here. Come on, boys, you can do it. The snap. And Wilson back deep, throws, and it's incomplete. The guy tripped, the receiver tripped, so it's 4th down now. So all we have to do is stop them from getting 10 yards here, and this one's ours. Come on, boys. 10 o'clock now. This is about an hour later than Rob thought that we might go tonight, but if we get out here with a coin, if we get out here with a Quakers win to start the season, you know, we'll take it. So Terre Haute South is just usually last time out. So when we come back, Plainfield 31, Terre Haute South 27. The Braves have the ball 4th and 10 at the Plainfield 28. Now, what we got to watch out for is, you know, making sure that, you know, we're not just trying to, you know, cut off their routes to get, like, you know, the 10 yards and then, you know, get the first down and go from there. We got to make sure that, you know, that we have some coverage in the end zone too. You know, I remember going back in 1993 when Kentucky played Florida. Wasn't exactly the same situation, but I believe, yeah, Kentucky had just taken a lead on a field goal with maybe a minute and a half to go, and Florida had the ball with like 8 seconds left. And instead of like going for the first down, they decided to just go for the touchdown. And they, if I remember correctly, Kentucky had nobody on the guy who caught the ball. So we got to make sure, you know, all their receivers are covered. So I don't remember every detail of that Kentucky-Florida game as well as I should. But anyway, so now the snap, and now it's incomplete. Okay, we're going to win it. The Quakers hang on. Oh, my God. They don't make it easy on our hearts. Too close for comfort, but we're going to pull it out as Terre Haute South gets all the way down to the Plainfield 28, but then turns it over on 4 incompletions. Now we just got to kneel it out. Oh, my God. We still got a lot to work on, but I'd much rather work on it at 1-0 than 0-1. Oh, my God. I'll tell you, this feels good after the way last season ended. Losing those last 3 games. Man, our boys, you know, it shouldn't have been this close. We should have been out of here half an hour ago. But we hung on and we made the plays we needed to when it counted the most. And now we got a kneel down from Bryce DeBunk. Overall, not a great game, but for a sophomore making his first start, a good game. And he's going to get better. Terre Haute South is probably going to win 5, 6, 7 games this year. And, you know, I don't know how many we're going to win. I think we're going to win more. But, you know, we could be better than last year and not win as many games because I think the Mid-State Conference is going to be so tough this year. So now, Sabank, he kneels down, and that's it. So after closing out 2023 with 3 painful losses, your Plainfield Quakers show that they're going to redeem themselves here in 2024. It wasn't easy. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't comfortable. But they do open the season with a 31-27 win over Terre Haute South. We'll take it. So at this time, we're going to take a short pause for some final words from our sponsors. Then we'll be back with the recap and a look ahead to next week's road trip to Harrison. You're listening to Plainfield Quakers football on audiosportsonline.com or something. This broadcast of Plainfield Quakers football is brought to you through the generous donations of our sponsors. We would like to recognize them, and we hope you will support them. Remax Centerstone, Julia Berberich, Ganell Financial, Crone Family Construction, My IT Indy, Ryan Grimes, IT 70 Wrecker Service and Garage, BGW Construction LLC, Legacy Motorsports, Crestwood Real Estate, Chris Pearson, Selwith Jones, the Stewart Home Group, Ellison Associates. Thank you, sponsors. Your support for the student athletes of Plainfield High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Plainfield for a final time tonight, where your Plainfield Quakers have opened the 2024 season with a thrilling 31-27 win over the Terre Haute South Braves. It's a game that started very badly for the Quakers, but they started to come alive in the second quarter, made 2 or 3 bad plays that enabled Terre Haute South to stay in it. But in the end, Plainfield made enough plays that they had to and came through when it counted to escape with the win, even if, they just about gave us a heart attack in the course of doing so. Terre Haute South got the ball first, and with 9:11 to go in the first quarter, Brady Wilson threw 48 yards to promising sophomore Mason Lewis for the touchdown. Margot Mallory hit the extra point, making it 7-0. And Plainfield, after not getting a first down, getting 6 yards each on their first 2 possessions, came alive on their third possession. Luke Starnes, last year's leading rusher, now a junior, rushed 46 yards to set up a 10-yard touchdown rush by Ethan Ellis on a trick play. It was a double handoff for a sophomore quarterback, Bryce Sabank, to Wayrich, who hit Ellis running in the opposite direction. He took it in 10 yards for the score with 9:11 to go in the second quarter, and with 9:38 to go in the second quarter, and Leo Hayop hit the extra point, making it 7-7. Then with 8:02 to go, just a minute and 36 seconds later, Luke Starnes rushed in 5 yards for the touchdown, having set it up with a 33-yard rush. And it looks like Plainfield was in control of the game. However, Terre Haute South struck back with a 22-yard touchdown rush from Ty Isaac Corbin with 5:12 to go in the quarter, making it 5-12, making the score 14-14 with 5:12 to go in the quarter. And then with 1:39 to go, coming off an interception, Plainfield got the lead back 17-14 on a 28-yard field goal from Leo Hayop. Then after another interception, Hayop attempted a 49-yard field goal that was several yards short on the last play of the half. Plainfield got the ball first to start off the second half, and Weston Wayrich rushed 14 yards to the Terre Haute South one, then punched it in himself on the next play with 9:42 to go in the quarter. That gave Plainfield a seemingly comfortable 24-11 lead. However, just 4 plays later on Terre Haute South's ensuing possession, Wilson threw 62 yards to A.J. Suggs for a touchdown, and that made the score with 7:15 to go, 24-20 after a blocked extra point. Then Terre Haute South got the lead back on a 60-yard touchdown pass from Wilson to Lewis. However, after Plainfield intercepted a third Wilson pass about midway through the fourth quarter, the Quakers slowly drove the ball down. And then after a double timeout on 4th and 1 at the 5, Luke Starnes rushed 1 yard. They had to do a measurement, but he did get it. And then Starnes took it in for his second touchdown of the game. And then the extra point was good, making it 31-27, and notably that forced Terre Haute South to abandon any hope of a field goal and go for the touchdown. They worked their way down after 3 receptions from Lewis to the Plainfield 28, but there they turned it over on 4 consecutive incompletions, and Plainfield knelt at the clock from there. We'll look at the individual statistics. First of all, for Plainfield, let's see here. Bryce Sabank, overall, a good first game, not a spectacular game, but a good first game at quarterback for the sophomore. I have him 9 of 12 for 73 yards. No great statistics for the receivers. Let's see, we got Ryan Garver had 2 receptions for 23 yards. Brandon Henry, 2 for 10. Weston Wayrich, 1 for 11. Let's see, I'm looking for, Mason Beers, 1 for 5. Ethan Ellis, 3 for 18. And Deshaun Callahan, 1 for 6. On rushing, Luke Starnes, 20 for 145 and 2 touchdowns. So that's a very promising start to him after his slow finish to last season. Not that it was his fault, but, basically our opponent's game plans neutralized our rushing offense. And then Weston Wayrich is back up last year. A very good game, 12 rushes for 65 yards and a touchdown in his own right. Zabonk, 7 rushes for -12. Meanwhile, for Terre Haute South, senior quarterback and 3-year starter Brady Wilson, a very mixed game. He completed 20 of 39 passes for 352 yards, 3 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions that were very costly. On receiving, Mason Lewis, outstanding game for the sophomore, 10 receptions, 213 yards, 2 touchdowns. AJ Suggs, only 1 reception, but it was 62 yards for the touchdown. Chris Herron, the coach's son, the leading returning receiver, 3 for 38. AJ Suggs, Suggs had 5 receptions for 99 yards and a touchdown. I apologize for that mess up. And then Ty Isaac Corbin, 2 for 1 on the ground. Corbin led the way, 12 rushes for 50 yards and a touchdown. AJ Suggs, 5 for 17. Trevon Branch, 3 for 5, and Brady Wilson, 4 for 2. So in conclusion, I'll tell you, when Terre Haute South scored easily on their first possession and, scored in less than 3 minutes, we never got a good stop. They made it look easy. And then that, 48-yard reception for the touchdown from Wilson to Lewis, he was wide open. He was open from here to Avon. And then we got 0 first downs, only 12 total yards on our first 2 possessions. I was worried. But then on our second, on our third possession, when Starnes got that 46-yard rush that set up the score, then I was hoping we'd start to settle down on offense, and we did. And then, we ended up getting that score in the reverse. And even at that point, I was thinking, well, are we going to have to do a trickery like that to score? It turned out we didn't. Starnes went on to score 2 touchdowns rushing, and then Wayrich 1 just on normal plays. And then, we started to put a lot of pressure on Mason, made him get rid of the ball a lot earlier than he wanted to, got the 3 interceptions. And I think by the second interception, his confidence was really shaken. Now, granted, he did come back in the second half of the 2 long touchdown passes of 62 yards to Suggs, 60 yards to Lewis. I give him credit for that. But he still wasn't able to play quite the game he wanted to. And, we lost those last 3 games last year for a variety of reasons, but largely because our opponents forced us to play the way, they wanted to play rather than the way we wanted to play. And mostly from the second quarter on tonight, we played the way we wanted to play with a few exceptions. Now, there were rough edges we need to polish. That kickoff, where it bounced, the line drive kick where it bounced off our guy and they recovered. That gave him another chance. Where Terre Haute South sustained the drive on the miscue on the punt those are things, we got to learn from. But again, as I alluded to near the end of the game, it's a lot better to work on these things at 1-0 than 0-1. And, in most cases, I don't freak out too much over a season opening loss unless we just play terribly. If we play decently and make a good effort and, just lose on a few because of a few miscues, I don't take it too badly because I look at it like this. We got a good coaching staff. We're going to come back and overcome it. But I think after the way last season ended with those 3 losses and then the 301 days between that Harrison game in the playoffs last year and this one, we needed to get the win tonight. And so I'm glad we did. And so, we caught a fish tonight. Not a big one, but at least a medium-sized one. And even if it were a little one, after the way last season ended, we would not throw this one back. So this is one to build on. It's not a program-defining win, but it is one that is a step in the right direction, toward getting this program where we want it to be here in year 2 under head coach Tyler Bless. And now game 2 of year 2 of the Tyler Bless era is 1 week from tonight, where we play our first road game of the season against a suddenly very familiar opponent. Back in the 2022 offseason, as head coach Brian Woodard was heading into his farewell season here at Plainfield, he said he did not want to take the game against Harrison because they're so far away. They're 80 miles north of here, roughly. He did not want to take a game that far away from home, but if he did not take it, they were close enough that, to the deadline of finding a game that they might have not had an opponent for week 2. So he reluctantly took the game, and little did he know of the monster that he was creating. And I mean that in the most complimentary way. In a very odd coincidence, we ended up, because of the sectional realignment, in the same sectional with Harrison that year. Prior to that, we had only played Harrison once in history. That was in the 92 playoffs, where they beat us 35-14 at Harrison on the way to their only state championship. That was the 4A state championship back in 1992. And anyway, so we played up there in the regular season week 2 years ago. Week 2 in the 2022 season, we lost 22-14 on a Hail Mary. We had the ball at the 27 we had the ball at the 27 of Harrison on the last play of the game. Hunter Newell threw an interception on a Hail Mary. Then we played there again in the first round of the playoffs. And we were down 28-21 midway through the fourth quarter. Had it 4th and 18 at the Harrison 39. But Hunter Newell threw a 39-yard touchdown pass to Grant Irwin. Then on Harrison's ensuing possession, a fumble was recovered by Plainfield's ironically named Harrison Herbeck, who returned it 51 yards for the touchdown to give Plainfield the win 35-28. So Harrison beat Harrison that night. Harrison Herbeck beat the Harrison Raiders. And then last year in game 2 of the regular season, Harrison came here. They led 14-0. We came back to win 15-14. We went back there in the first round of the playoffs again. This time they came in with a much more effective game plan. As I said in the opening segment, they came up with a much more effective game plan. They rushed some more. We failed to contain them. They averaged over 6 yards a carry. And, they forced us to play from behind almost the entire game. And they neutralized our rushing offense. And all they had to do is take away the big play. They cruised to a 39-13 win. That was 301 days ago. We've had 301 days to think about that game. Apparently, we had thought about it a lot because we came out to redeem ourselves tonight and got a good start at it, getting this win tonight. So, anyway, so next week's game will be our 5th game against Harrison in the last 3 seasons, our 4th at Harrison, because, it's every other year at each team's home field. And then it just so happened we drew the game at Harrison in the playoffs each of the last 2 years. So it'll be my 4th time up there in a little over 2 years. Last time I was there last year, one of their guys said he actually remembered me. I took that as a compliment. So hopefully he'll remember me again next week. But anyway, look forward to that road trip, and hopefully it'll be a win. Harrison, like us, enters this season with a lot of question marks. I have not seen how they did in their opening game tonight, but basically, like us, they returned about one important offensive star. Most of their players who tormented us the last 2 years, Carter Canoy, Calix Dixon, Ethan Pop, are all gone. They've all graduated. Chris Ferguson, their leading rusher last year, does return. However, he's a senior now. Last year, 101 carries, 659 yards, I believe 10 touchdowns. So presumably he will be a big focal point of the offense this season. So likely to be a rebuilding year for Harrison in the first 10 years of head coach Terry Peebles, 9 winning seasons, 2 sectional championships. However, we cannot play them in the playoffs this year because they've moved into Class 6A. I don't think they're going to be able to be very competitive there, by the way. So they'll probably, get several wins in the weak North Central Conference that they play in, but probably will not do much in the playoffs. We'll see. I could be wrong, but that's just based on a lot of history. Regardless, still a great regular season rivalry. It doesn't quite, I don't think it'll quite have the intensity since we can't play them in the playoffs, but still, obviously, each of the last 2 years, we played twice. The team that lost the regular season game won the playoff rematch. So we're going to be gunning for each other. And turned out that we're not quite as much of a rebuilding project this year as I thought we were based on our performance tonight. So hopefully Harrison's a little more of a rebuilding project and we'll get the win, especially because I don't think there are going to be any gimme wins this year in the Mid-State Conference. We opened the season number 9 in the AP poll, but, Decatur Central opens at 1 and Whiteland at 4, all in Class 5A, and in Class 4A. Martinsville opens at 9 and Mooresville at 17. So 5 of the 8 teams in the conference open ranked. So this is, there are probably no gimme wins in the conference. I mean, even Perry Meridian, which has pretty much been a gimme win ever since they joined the conference in 2018. We only beat them by 1 last year. It was our first close game with them. So wins are no longer easy to come by. We're going to have to earn every win we get, but that makes it tough for the playoffs. Speaking of which, because of how late it is in the broadcast, how late it is at night, I'm only going to skim through this. I'll talk about it more later in the season. But the sectional we're in this year, Decatur Central as always, but then Whiteland, who we played in the regional 2 years ago, and would have played in the regional last year had we won the sectional. They're in our sectional this year, and the other team in our sectional is Anderson, a comparatively weak team. Who we should beat easily if we draw them. Not a guarantee, but likely as long as we, play our game. And so Anderson, my hope is that we play at Anderson in the first round, get that win, and that way we would only have to beat Decatur Central or Whiteland, not both of them, to win the sectional. Certainly we could beat both, but we have a much better chance to beat Anderson at just beating one of the 2 heavyweights in the sectional. But then again, 2 years ago, we did beat both Harrison and Decatur Central to win the sectional. So, we can do it again. So anyway, not a great win, but a good win, a good way to start off the season. Certainly feels to break that 3-game losing streak going back to last season. Certainly we did enough tonight to make me feel good about the kind of season we're going to have. We got a lot of rough edges to polish, a lot of, improvement to do. But if we keep on, doing it week to week, then I think we're going to be really good and have a chance to make a good playoff run this year. So once again, your final score here tonight in the season opener at Plainfield, your Plainfield Quakers 31, the Terre Haute South Braves 27. The Tyler Bless era gets a win in its first game of season 2. Well, this concludes our broadcast. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and I cordially invite you to do so again 1 week from tonight at 6:45 p.m. for the pregame show as your Plainfield Quakers play their first road game of the season as they go to Tippecanoe County to visit the Harrison Raiders. Until then, for AudioSportsOnline.com, this is Lex Zorn reminding you, there is a difference. Only you can make. Hello.
What do you call that on?
Audio Sports Online.
So you just did it over your phone?
Yeah, usually we have regular radio gear, but you know, the main guy couldn't be here tonight, so this is the backup plan.
Where did the main guy at?
Oh, he had some, he runs a bunch of, he's Audio Sports Online. They do, broadcasts for all over the country, and he had to be in the studio tonight.
Oh, gotcha.
So he's here with,
Where's the studio
at his house, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, he's with me about half the time.
All right.
So.
I props to you for calling that on the phone.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
What, you call it Skype or what?